What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the stream. Everyone that's getting here now, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to spend with me. Everybody that's watching the stream after the stream, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to watch little old me. Really appreciate all of you. Give me 1 second. Sorry, run a little behind. I was like 30 seconds late. Had an important phone call I had to take care of. I just want to make sure the stream's up, everything's working. I usually do that before, but like I said, I just jumped right into the stream. Okay, everything's looking good. Everything's looking great. I love it. Everybody that's here, hit that like button. Hit that, smack that all on the flow. But anyway, all right, let's dive in. Let's dive into the conversations. Let's dive into discussions, and we'll break it all down. Let's see how everybody's doing here. What's up, John? Appreciate you being here first. Love it, love it. What is up? Let's go. What's up, Russell? Appreciate you so much. What's up, Wes? Happy to catch the show live. This guy drops more quality content than anyone else I follow. I don't always agree with him, but I respect greatly the work he puts into the channel. Wes, thank you so much for your kind words. Seriously. Hey, look, that's the beauty, right? We don't always have to agree. That's the beauty of sports, right? More times than not, we're probably not going to agree, but it's about the conversation. Look, I say it all the time. This is YouTube. Like, it's fun. It's entertainment. It's just to have a good time, not for anybody to take too seriously. Look, I'm nobody. I'm just some dude on YouTube. Like, I'm just some dude making videos. That's all it is. So us disagreeing on some things, even if you disagree on everything that we talk about, that's the beauty. We all have our perspectives. We all have our thoughts. We all have our opinions. I just want to provide the entertainment, give you guys the blueprint. That's why at the end of every video, I say, this is a discussion and I want to hear from you. Because I really do. I want to hear all perspectives, all sides, and have those conversations. So I appreciate it, Wes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for catching the live show. And everybody that's trickling in here, again, hit that like button as you're coming in, subscribe to the channel, all of that stuff. Really greatly appreciate it. But I can't wait for Lakers basketball to be back. I cannot come sooner. I really can't. The first game is October 4th, something like that, I believe. The first preseason game is like October 4th or October 6th, something like that. So, I mean, we're right there. We're like 2 weeks away from the first NBA game. So I can't wait. Hopefully we have our roster figured out. Hopefully we have our things figured out, our situation figured out. Agree to disagree. Hey, that's the beauty, right, Brett? I love it. I love it. What's going on, Chicago Bears? How are you? How are you? Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for handing out. What else we got? Lakers and Jazz finally get their act together. Hopefully. So this is a good point to start real quick, and then we'll jump back into the chat. But like the whole Rob Pelinka thing, like the big point of conversation, the big point of topic, all of that stuff is, what's Rob Pelinka doing? And look, I have been a huge defender of Rob Pelinka. I have talked very highly of Rob Pelinka. I think Rob Pelinka has done well. He put together a championship team. He upgraded the next year in every way. We were an Anthony Davis away from probably being in back-to-back finals. Look at the Bucks. The Bucks were a Chris Middleton away from being probably in back-to-back finals. It's just how it works. One key injury, everything falls apart. So I don't really knock Rob too heavily in the sense of last year. Now, last year he had the Buddy Hield. DeMar DeRozan himself said, I thought I was going to the Lakers. All of that stuff. And your two superstars walked into that room and said, hey, we want you to go get Russell Westbrook. And when your two stars come into your office, I don't care which GM you are. Look at every GM and look what the Nets GM did for Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving. You do it. If that's what they want, you do it. Because that's just how it works. It's how it works in the league, especially LeBron going into a contract year. You want him to sign that extension. You want to make him happy. Nobody thought it was going to work seamlessly. I'm sure Rob was like, hey, man, are you sure you want to do this? I don't knock him for last year. And he's been great at plan Bs, turning things around on the fly, turning around things quick. But that being said, his obsession with guards is very fascinating. Now, look, I don't knock him for any of the free agents this year. All of the free agents the Lakers got this year, beautiful, because they literally got every single free agent that was possible to get. We were never going to get Order Porter. Gary Payton II, we were not going to get him. They were going to cost too much. And Gary Payton is basically, a younger Beverly, stuff like that. So I don't mind the acquisitions that he did. I thought he did great with free agency and getting basically everybody we could possibly get. I thought that was huge. Problem is now he goes and does the Patrick Beverly trade. Okay, cool. Like that makes sense. You clear up cap space, clear up a roster spot. You get a more win now guy, 3-and-D point guard, shot 38%, a guy that can, really be the energy. We need that. I love the Patrick Beverly acquisition. I think Patrick Beverly is going to make an insane impact beyond just the box score with this team. He's a guy that's going to give you that commitment night in and night out. He's going to give you that trash talk. He's the guy that can go get the technical. He's the guy that will, tell the star player to go F himself, stuff like that. I love that. You need that for a championship team. The Dennis Rodman, the Draymond Green, guys like that. You need that. That's what Pat Bev is. I'm okay with that. Now, that trade kind of signaled like, okay, that's a little weird. Are they going to trade Russell Westbrook? I even said, like, that looks like a deal. If you look at the roster we have currently, it looks like they're going to make a trade. And we've had all the rumors, all the talks, all the speculation, everything about like the Lakers are going to make a trade. And we haven't seen one yet. And then we get the news that Dennis Schroeder is now a Laker. And I think that is another great signing, but not given the circumstance of the team. Like, it makes no sense with the team that is currently constructed. Now, if we had, if we needed another guard or like, maybe that defensive minded 2 guard, something like that. Like, look, Patrick Beverly and Dennis Schroeder as your 2 pit bulls in the front against opposing guards. I love that. They're a little undersized. You got Patrick Beverly at 6'1", but he's got like a 6'7" wingspan. So he's got length. Okay. And he's always played bigger. I'm all for that. Dennis Schroeder's 6'3", and he's got like a 6'8" wingspan. So you got 2 guards with length and are just pit bulls. I'm okay with that. That's fine. But it doesn't fit the roster we currently have. It just doesn't make it. We need wings. We need that big body that can come in to alleviate LeBron, play the 3, play the 4, alleviate Anthony Davis. If you start, like Thomas Bryant could play the 4, but if you start Thomas Bryant at the 5, who plays the 4 now? If we would have went and got a Bogdanovich, you could have had him play the 4, maybe have Walker play the 3. Walker's got a 6'10" wingspan. So he's got length to him too. It's a little weird as to why they went and got Dennis Schroeder when you already have a ton of guards. And like, yeah, you could play some of these guys at the 2. Like, you could play Pat Bev at the 2. You could probably play Dennis Schroeder at the 2. But you got LeBron. You got it doesn't make sense to me. It looks like they are ramping up and preparing to do a trade. But we, up to this point, haven't seen one yet. And unless they do a trade, it doesn't make any sense. Okay, let's put it like this. So, one, I understand get the best player available. That makes sense. Maybe they looked at Dennis Schroeder as the best player available. Secondly, there were several other teams that wanted Dennis Schroeder, including several teams in the Western Conference, like the Warriors and stuff like that. So I understand the thinking of, well, if we get him, then that means a team like the Warriors don't get him. And that's one less component we have to worry about. It's one less piece to make them better. Something like that. I do understand that. But when you look at this roster, it just doesn't add up and make sense. So I'm hoping that something comes. If it's not a Russell Westbrook trade, as much as I would hate for them to trade Kendrick Nunn, I think you got to. We got to go get a wing player. So if there's a way that you can go get a Cam Reddish or something like that, I think they got to go do it. I think you got to make that happen. You got to figure out, we really need a solid wing. You just need somebody. And like Cam Reddish, I am high on Cam Reddish. I really like Cam Reddish. 6'8", 7'1" wingspan, 3-and-D, 22 years old, tons of upside. Lakers traded for him last year until the Knicks got greedy as they were like filling out the paperwork to submit the trade, stuff like that. But it's just, there's a lot of questions with Cam Reddish. But it's just you got to kind of get what you can get, so to speak. But I don't know. Let's jump into some more chat questions here. And let's see. Salute, Tyler. Do you think that there's any chance the Lakers send Russ home? Well, salute, SM. I appreciate you. Absolutely not. I don't. One, the Lakers already said that they wouldn't. Two, I don't think you can. The Lakers aren't a tanking team to where, you can send them home and it benefits the team. Secondly, the Lakers, I don't think are good enough to not have Russ in some capacity. I think you move him to the bench and you have him play 10 minutes a game before you send him home. Just because, we need the bodies. You need at least Russ, is going to play every single game. He's going to give 100% and whatever time you get him into, stuff like that. So I just think you got to figure out a way to try to incorporate him. I do think he starts at least the first 20 plus games. Darvin Ham tries to see what he could do. If it doesn't work, then maybe you move him to the bench, have him operate as a sixth man. If that doesn't work, then I think you got to have him, get him some run, have him play, like I said, 10, 15 minutes a game as a, seventh guy, whatever. I just don't think the Lakers are in a position to tank. And secondly, the Lakers aren't good enough to pivot and say, okay, we could go without a $47 million a year guy that could at least contribute something. He's going to at least give you something, which I think is key and important. How is Westbrook going to bounce back with 4 point guards on the roster? So, look, very likely Patrick Beverley is going to play the 2. So is Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley probably play the 2 spot. I would imagine that Westbrook and Schroeder would be your point guards off the bench. Problem is you still got LeBron. Problem is you still have Walker. You still have Austin Reeves. We got conflicting reports yesterday. We got one report that said the Lakers are going to have, the 4 point guards play the 1s and 2s. And then that the Austin Reeves and Walker would be your 3s, that they would, fill out the 3s and they would compete for the backup spot to LeBron James. I think that that's currently, as the roster is constructed, that's the only way I see that happening, is you basically have Nunn and Beverly as your 2 guards. You have Westbrook and Schroeder as your point guards. So that way you always have a guard next to Schroeder and a Westbrook that can play off the ball, right? Nunn was a 38% 3-point shooter last time he played. Same thing with Beverly, 38%. So you always have that guard that's 38% next to your 2 guards that aren't very good at shooting 3s. Although Schroeder is 34%, 33%, something like that. So he can knock it down, but he's not an elite shooter. So he's not 38%. So I think you always have those 2 in tandem. This might also light a fire under Russ. And the reason I say that is because Russ now knows they have Dennis Schroeder, Patrick Beverly, and Kendrick Nunn. So if he doesn't do what is asked of him, all right, go sit down, take a seat, Schroeder, come in. If he's not willing to run the plays or, set the screens or do whatever, play some defense, stuff like that. If he's being a liability, I see him absolutely saying, I'm gonna sit you. That's it. Come here, sit down. You, Schroeder, you're in. Time to operate. That's what I think will end up happening. So I think that would very likely light a fire under Russ to kind of get him motivated as I want to play as much as possible. I want to be on the court as much as possible. I'm also in a contract year, all of those things. I think all of that will play a factor in the Russell Westbrook improvement with the Lakers. I also think that Darvin Ham having the front office is, okay, is huge, because now he can say, Russ, we're benching you tonight. You're coming off the bench tonight, where Frank Vogel didn't really have that. So now, because of Darvin Ham, he can do the hard choices and make the tough decisions. And he's got the back. He doesn't have to worry about, the organization getting upset or something like that and losing his job. He's going to be here long after Russell Westbrook is gone. So the way Darvin Ham's looking at it is like, look, you got 1 year, I got several. So, you're out the door one way or another. So I don't really care. So it gives Darvin Ham more of that freedom. Now, I do imagine Darvin Ham wants to have Russ be as effective as possible. And I really do think this team could be very good. It's just, how will we shape up chemistry? How will the coaching? What will be the stats? Stuff like that. That would be my guess. Lakers doing some big trade. I mean, it's the only thing that makes sense to me. It is. It's the only thing that makes sense to me. We got to have something brewing. And good videos at that. Well, thank you so much. Like I said, I really do appreciate it. I really appreciate all of you. Everybody that's in the stream, thank you all for being here, hanging out with me. And hit that like button. Let's hit that like button. Here, let's real quick. Let's set a goal, because we set a goal yesterday for the likes, set a goal yesterday for the subscribers, stuff like that. It's always good to have that. We got 29 likes and 183 people in the stream. Hit that like button. Let's do 150 likes. Get me to 150 likes, and we were at 3657. Let's get to 3,700 subscribers. So that's only 43 subscribers. So let's get 43 subscribers and 150 likes. So it's 130 likes, 43 subscribers. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. It's free. It takes a second of your time. Really helps me. You have no idea the power of the like button, power of a subscription. I'd really appreciate you taking the time to do that. Let's get me to 3,700 subscribers. That would be beautiful. And 150 likes on this live stream. It really helps even after the stream. So do that for me. Do it now. Get it done. I don't trust Pelinka. He's doing crazy. I don't know. I want to give him a chance to see what the end result is. We don't know what the end result is. What if he pulls off a deal and we end up getting, 2 or 3 solid players and the roster fits beautifully. It's what I've talked about for a while. I've talked about, Pelinka's in a tough position because there's not a lot out there that he can do to improve the roster. If he makes a trade, people are going to hate him. If he doesn't make a trade, people are going to hate him. If he makes a trade and it's a solid trade, people are going to say he gave up too much. He's in a lose-lose situation. And so obviously he's not operating based on what fans want, nor should he, because if GMs listened to what the fandom wanted, they would never get anything done, nor would they be functional. There's a reason these guys get paid millions of dollars to be GMs. Not saying that all GMs are great. There are very terrible GMs and people that are very bad at their jobs, but I don't think that's the case with Pelinka. I think he's very limited in what he can do. He doesn't want to jeopardize the future for something that doesn't really make us better, that doesn't really improve us as a team, which I don't think any of these trades make us a lock as a contender. I think, like the Jazz trade, I think makes us a little better, but I don't think it makes us a lock. And it's always like, what's next? Like say Pelinka traded both firsts and, Russell Westbrook and got Bogdanovich and Beasley. Let's say that was the deal. And let's say Rudy Gay for salaries, right? They got Bogdanovich, Beasley, and Rudy Gay. Now you have no cap space for the following season. Not saying Kyrie comes, but maybe somebody else. Maybe there's a ton of like mid-tier guys that you could get, 2 or 3 of those guys. Like what if you could get a Gary Trent Jr. and a Miles Turner, in the offseason and maybe an Order Porter Jr. Now you got your starting 5 and it's a great starting 5, but now you don't have the cap flexibility. Also, what happens if at like the trade deadline, the Nets implode and they're like, okay, we need to trade Kyrie Irving, and you have no draft picks. You have no players that you could use to match salaries. You have nothing. Like you're screwed, like now what? Or like, let's say like a Bradley Beal. Let's say Bradley Beal's, the Wizards are terrible again. Bradley Beal's like, look, I want to win. I got my bag. I'm eligible to be traded now. I want to get traded. How many Laker fans are going to be like, look, you shouldn't have done that. That trade was all the people that are like, get the Jazz trade done. All those same people are going to be like, Rob is an idiot. He's terrible. He can't win no matter what he does. I am okay with him standing pat if a right deal is on the table. I don't think that there is any package that is out there right now that is worth one of those first that could potentially be a lottery pick. I think those picks only get more value as time goes on. But if I understand that both sides have to compromise. And if you could get something that makes us solid now, okay, work it out. I just think it depends on what the deals are on the table, because that's the thing. We don't really know. We don't really know what is really on the table, what is really a possibility, what is there that we can, we're just going off of reports, and the reporting this offseason has been awful. Like nobody, even guys that were like can't miss reporting, have all been just terrible. I mean, even yesterday after the Dennis Schroeder signing, you had two reports that came out, one from Mark Stein and one from Jovan Buha and Sam Arwick, or however you say his name, like literally at the same time came out, and they both were completely contradicting reports. Neither of those reports were anything in the same ballpark. They were two completely different situations. So it's like, we don't know. Like, you can't trust the reporting. You can't trust. That's why, like, one video I post is about this. The next video is about this. And people are like, like what? Because I'm just relaying the news and giving my thoughts on it, but the news you can't even trust right now because it's all over the place. And it's just, we're in this like weird spot. But yeah, I mean, it's an interesting position to be in, to say the least. Where will we? 2 wings would be nice. I am with you, Hector. We could definitely use 2 wings on this team. What is your expectations on the Lakers rankings next season with the roster we currently have? I really think this team has the potential to be really good. I don't understand the whole, this team is going to suck, this team is a play-in team, this team is whatever, when we haven't even seen them step on the court. Good coaching solves a lot. There's a reason that good coaches get paid a ton of money. There's a reason that NBA players need coaches, because you need somebody that can see the things that you can't see. You need somebody that can understand and operate and run from an organizational standpoint. And I think that Darvin Ham is going to be a guy that's going to come in. He's a real X's and O's guy. He's got the pedigree. He's a guy that many people thought he should have been a head coach years ago. I mean, 4 years ago? Like, people wanted him to be the head coach of, several different teams, like Sacramento, things like that, like, because he's a guy that has the pedigree. Good coaching solves a lot. And we have a lot of really young, athletic guys. And I keep saying it over and over again. This roster is a better version of the 2020 bubble team. I made an entire video breaking it down, giving you stats, statistics, facts, all of that stuff. This team matches up beautifully. Our bigs, we have bigs that are more athletic, more versatile, can do more, all of that stuff. Like, we have, our Austin Reeves as our Alex Caruso. We never had a Kendrick Nunn. We have Patrick Beverly. That's our Danny Green. Only difference is he shoots better percent, stuff like that. Like, we have, like, if you look at this roster and you go in comparison down the list, this roster is very good. I just think a lot of people see this roster and they don't know any of the names. None of the players stand out to them to where they go, oh, I know a Danny Green. Oh, I know a Dwight Howard. I know a JaVale McGee. Things like that. You got to remember, all of the conversation about this Lakers team, they were saying the same stuff about the bubble team. Same exact stuff. Is this team good enough for Anthony Davis and LeBron James to carry? Like, Alex Caruso wasn't a known commodity. Danny Green, yeah, he was a name, but he was falling off, and he wasn't that good for us at all. Our best three-point shooter was KCP, and he only shot 38%. The next closest were Danny Green and Kyle Kuzma, and they both shot 35, 36%. Our that team as a team only shot 34% from three. We were not a good three-point shooting team the bubble year. We were just really good defensively. Really good defensively. And we have the pieces to be really good defensively this year. And healthy LeBron, healthy Anthony Davis, boom. And on top of that, if you could get Russell Westbrook to be effective, we never had a Russell Westbrook on that team. I mean, this team has the potential to be really great. I mean, look, they also have the potential to be really bad. We don't know. And that's my point, is I don't understand how people can look at this team and immediately write it off. We have no way of knowing what this team could look like or what this team could be. This team, for all we know, could be great. Great. We're going to go as far as LeBron James and Anthony Davis takes us. This team is very young, very athletic, all of that stuff. This team is very good. So yeah, I just think people don't know who these players are. You know, we have more guys that shoot 38% on this roster than we did on the bubble team. So we inherently just be better three-point shooting. Not just that, but LeBron James shoots better from three than he did on that bubble team. You know, stuff like that. So it's just something to keep in mind. Something to keep in mind. That's all I'm saying. I trust in Rob Pelinka. Hey, look, I like I said, I want to see. Let's wait and see what the end result is before we make judgments. You know, we don't know what the end result. What if he pulls off some great thing and we're like, well, now we all like, why would we all jump the gun and end up egg on our face when we could, you know, give him the benefit of the doubt and let's see what happens. You know, it is a little weird, the roster. I'm not saying a trade does get done, but it's definitely looks like one should be coming. Tyler, I've been saying fire Pelinka and Darvin Ham. Look, first off, I don't know how you could fire Darvin Ham when Darvin Ham hasn't even played a game yet, hasn't even coached a game yet. But fire Pelinka, we got to wait and see what he does. Look, winning solves everything. If this team opening night beats the Warriors, everybody's going to be like, oh, we're a contender, and everyone's going to be all happy and think we're great. You know, just like if we start 0-7, like everyone's going to be like, oh, this team's terrible. I mean, it's just winning solves everything. We're just another guy on the internet making videos talking about sports. Doesn't mean we're experts. There's a difference between NBA YouTubers and people like on ESPN. We agree to disagree. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, spot on. Look, I have no inside information. I have no inside sources. I have nothing. I am just a dude that is just relaying the information that's out there and giving my opinion. You know, and you're right. Like people on ESPN, like they get paid to be the insiders. They get paid and build the connections and stuff like that. You know, I'm some dude on the internet. Better win a title or they're all fired. I don't think that, especially not Darvin Ham. You know, they're not going to pay two coaches for the next and then go hire another coach. That's not going to happen because they still got to pay Vogel. Got to make the big trade. This is the year to go for it. The problem is, what's the big trade? Like, what's out there that's that good? That's really going to make an impact. What's going on, Jedi? I bet this trade is going to happen on Monday. I could see that. I really could. I mean, if it's going to happen, it's got to happen within the next like 5 to 7 days. I think training camp for some teams I know is the 27th. So I got to imagine that the Lakers is somewhere around there, and we're at the 7th. So we got like 10 days. You know, so I imagine it's got to happen either this weekend or by the middle of this week. Plot twist: Lakers win 2023 championship. Pelinka saves his job. Hey, healthy LeBron James, healthy Anthony Davis. If this team has the chemistry, plays the defense, all that stuff, everyone knows the role, I'll take my chances. I'm not saying that they're a contender, but I'll take my chances. You know, there's not a team in the West that can match up to Anthony Davis, not a team in the West that can match up to LeBron James. And we got both of them on the team. Good luck. Need some shooters and forwards like Bohan? Absolutely. Like Pet Bev now, get some shooters. Yeah, we definitely could use some more shooting. I don't think we're going to be that bad shooting wise as possible. Not just that, but you got to keep in mind, a lot of these guys have never played with a guy like LeBron James or Russell Westbrook, things like that. That's something that you got to keep in mind. These guys are going to get looks like they've never gotten in their careers. And so I think that that's something you got to take into account. You have guys like Walker who have shot 40% from three before. If you know, he doesn't have to do that, but if he could get to like 37, 38%, you know, you never know. You never know. What else we got? I heard some Nunn trade rumors. It's kind of sad he didn't play any games for us. I think like if you can't trade Russ, Nunn is the next option, right? So you kind of gotta go that route. It does suck. I really want to see what he could do with this team. I really do. Rob sir, exactly what are you doing? What's good, bro? Keep up the videos. Go Lakers. Thank you so much, Lorenzo. I really appreciate you. Yeah, I mean, look, it is a little odd. Hopefully he has something in the works that he can kind of pick up, and in hindsight we could, maybe we all look at it and go, oh man, that was great. We gotta see. We gotta just see. Everything's a process. Everything takes time. Why the hell did Lakers sign Dennis? I don't know. I mean, there's got to be something. Something's got to be coming, right? At least that's what it looks like, But you never know. West and Nunn out as he's still injured for Jazz, Bowen, Clarkson, and Beasley, but it'll cost the pick. Well, I mean, you don't need a trade done. They don't want to take back players and salaries. You could do that for just West and probably a pick. Yeah, because I don't think the Jazz would want. I don't think the Jazz would want Kendrick Nunn, even if the Lakers were willing to trade him. Love the content. Good point of view. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Black. Thank you. And thank you all for being here. It's awesome. We got 233 people in the live stream. Hit that subscribe button. Help me get to 2,700. That's today's live stream goal. We're 40 subscribers. I'm sure out of the 230 of you, there are 40 of you that aren't subscribed. So hit that subscribe button. It's free. Helps me out. Helps me grow the channel. That's the goal. That's what I'm trying to do. And hit that like button. The like goal is 150 likes. Let's get 150 likes. We're at 58 likes and 228 people. That means that there is enough people to hit my goal of 150 likes right this second. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel. I could hit my subscriber goal and my like goal. Boom, that quick if you guys help me out. So subscribe to the channel. Like this video. Help me out. I really appreciate it. Dennis is 6'1". Pretty sure Dennis is 6'3". That was his whole comparison. Here, let's look it up in real time. Because I'm pretty sure he's like 6'3", but maybe I'm wrong. Dennis Schroeder. Let's see. We'll look it up in real time. This says 6'3", and this one says 6'1". So that didn't answer my question. So based on Basketball Reference says he is 6'3", 172 pounds. Let's see NBA player bio. Dennis Schroeder, NBA ESPN player bio, 6'1". So it's probably 6'2". Well, probably somewhere in the middle. Because half of these articles say 6'1", half of them say 6'2". So we'll be in the middle. We'll call him 6'2". But he does. I do know he has like a 6'8" wingspan. So that's basically what you'd be counting on is his wingspan. But yeah, we must be punting on this season. I absolutely disagree. I do not think we are punting on this season. How can we be punting on the season when we haven't even seen this team play? That makes no logical sense to me. What if this team is incredible? Like, what if everyone knows their role? Everyone's great. Guys are knocking down threes. The system's flowing. Like, we have no idea. This could go absolutely beautifully. It could, in the same breath, could go absolutely terrible. I don't know. But I don't think we can immediately say, like, oh, this team sucks. Like, I see so many comments and so many people in these live streams, so many people saying, like, this team is terrible. Like, we're punting the season. We're blowing the team. Like, this team sucks. Like, the Lakers are going to suck. Like, how do you know that? We have an entirely new coach, entirely new culture, new schemes, new offensive systems, veteran guys. Like, we got younger. We're probably going to be really good defensively. It doesn't make any sense to me. And then what if the Lakers are really good? Are all of you going to say I'm an idiot and I was wrong? No, you're just going to mosey on about your day. Like, I don't know. Like, I would rather operate under the idea of, like, I don't know. This team could be really good. This team could be really bad. Who knows? Let's let them play a game before we make that assessment. Got them because they are moving Nunn and West for those three Jazz players. I mean, hey, it's very possible. It's very possible. Do you think the Indy deal might make a comeback? I mean, it makes sense. I don't think so. If I'm being honest, I know I made the video and stuff like that, but it was just more of like a thought, like, hey, like this would make sense, rather than like, oh, like this could end up happening, or like a reporter or anything like that. I think they could go that route, but my problem is that like I just don't see Indy dropping their price. I don't see Indy saying like, oh, we're just gonna, drop Westbrook. Now, if we end up with a Utah deal and we have that on the table, then maybe, if the Lakers like the Pacers deal better, maybe you take like the Utah deal and go, hey, if you match this, we'll do your deal. Otherwise, we're gonna go do the Utah deal right now. That's something that could happen. Jazz Channel says you are desperate and the price is 2 picks for Conley, Bog, and Gay. You have no leverage. Sure, let's go with that, right? Oh, yeah. Like a Utah channel is going to say, Lakers have all the leverage. Lakers are going to – come on. Be smarter than that, Al. Come on. Use your noggin. You have a brain up there. Pelinka is creating an environment where players will fight for playing time. But that's not a bad thing. I don't think that that's a bad thing at all. At all. At all. I don't think that is at all. We are basically 2020 Portland Trailblazers. I don't think so. I think there's a lot of potential. And Portland didn't have a LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Maybe Charlotte and Jazz or Spurs and Jazz, but 3-team deals very hard. Look, multi-deals are very hard to do. Very hard to deal. But I don't see that happening. What else? 4 out, 1 in works with any player so long as you can shoot the ball. Yes, well, and the beauty is you have the floor space. So very likely my guess would be that that Darvin Ham is going to put him either in that corner spot where he shoots like 55% from 3, in the dunker spot, or he's going to let him spread the floor and then come down with the head of steam. So he's going to be coming down with the head of steam. He's going to be able to deviate and do all that stuff. So that would be my guess is how they'll run that. Look out for some possible Sun trades. Players will want out after the Sauber situation. I wouldn't be shocked if that ends up happening with everything that's going on. I mean, look, the minority owner took over as the governor and immediately said, the first thing he said was, I want Sauber gone. I want him to step down. So things are going to get pretty crazy, pretty interesting for sure. Lakers and Jazz have been talking and offers all the way up to picks and swaps. Just a matter if those two look like it will now. Lakers lost leverage, but Jazz still want picks. I don't know how Lakers lost leverage, but sure. I mean, look, I get Utah wants picks, and they should want picks. Doesn't mean they're going to get them. And they've been talking for a while. So the thing is, none of these guys are going to beat Russ out for a starting job. And with this roster, he's the best player on the team. Exactly. That's my point exactly. I mean, the video I made earlier today where I was like, does anyone really believe that Russ is not going to be the starter? Because I sure don't. I think it's just to light a fire under him. And look, Patrick Beverley came out and said that report was BS. Like, you guys just be making stuff up, this, that, and the other. So Pacers don't want Turner or Buddy's contract next year. And the Lakers are the only team publicly saying that they want both. Russ and 1 first-round pick and 2 second-round picks. Who says no? Well, I mean, Turner is a free agent, so they could just let him walk. But Buddy Hield, I could imagine they would want to get rid of him. Look, if it's only 1 first and 2 seconds, I'm sure the Lakers would do it. Problem is, last we heard about what the Pacers wanted, it was both firsts, Taylor Horton Tucker, who we don't even have anymore, and us to take on Daniel Tice. So unless that comes down, I don't see that happening. Paul may be moved from the Suns with Charlotte and Jazz as the 4th team. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Chris Paul said, hey, I want out. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't be shocked at all if with all this situation. I mean, he already dealt with the Donald Sterling thing, and now he's got this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. Chris Paul for Westbrook and some other possibilities. So I threw out the idea in a video. Again, wasn't a report, wasn't anything, just kind of like, hey, with this Robert Sauber thing going on, would Chris Paul want out? And if he would, I mean, it would make sense, if you're the Suns, if you get a first and Westbrook's salary to move off of Chris Paul's salary, might not be terrible. I mean, you'd have to include like a Jay Crowder, which I don't know how LeBron would like that, but there's a wing guy. There's a guy that kind of fills that slot. And look, LeBron and him are professionals. They'll figure it out. So I don't think it would happen. I'm not saying it's even a possibility, but it is an interesting thought at least. Bev is playing as a 2 for us this year. His plus minus last year as a 1 was minus 1.9, and as a 2 was 7.9. He's playing as a 2. Okay, defense for sure. Yeah, so like I think that's the only way you're going to be able to run that. Again, we got those two conflicting reports. You know, you had Mark Stein say what he was the one that said that they would be competing, and that you have the guards playing that, and then Reeves and Nunn are going to be playing for the 3 spot. But you had the Sam and Jovan report that said the opposite, said the complete opposite. That like no, like these guys are competing and stuff like that. And then today, to even further validate the other report, Patrick Beverley says like no, like the whole West compete. Like, where are you getting your sources? Like basically saying the whole thing's a joke. So yeah, that's the whole thing. Like so, it's the problem is we don't know. It makes sense though. It makes sense that you'd have Schroeder and Westbrook as your point guards, and then you have Nunn and Beverly as your 2 guards. They can both play off the ball. They can both shoot. You always have like a 38% 3-point shooter with your Schroeder and your Westbrook. Play defense, stuff like that. I do worry about the size though. I really do. I worry about the size, but Patrick Beverly's always played big. Schroeder can be annoying and a little bit of a pest. Yeah, I definitely think that it could go well. What else we got? Just keep in mind, Nunn is still injured, so looks like the spot means 3 available if Levy Westbrook. I mean, the problem is we don't know for sure if Nunn is hurt. Darvin Ham, everybody in his camp have all said he's fine and he's ready to go. So what else? Lakers basically have similar lineups to the Bucks. It will work with 2 wings, 1 less. Yeah, well, I mean, that's what Darvin Ham even compared it to, that they have the like that's why they wanted like Thomas Bryant, stuff like that. They have the big floor spacing bigs. He's going to run a similar offense to the Bucks. Yeah, it is very comparable. Russ fires his agent, hires a buyout specialist. Lakers trade for his enemy. Russ sells his LA home. Lakers sign a 5th point guard. That's what I'm saying. Look, all of those things individually don't necessarily mean trade, but when you start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together, it just all signs point to that happening. Really. Chris Paul and Crowder for Westbrook, fair exchange, ain't no robbery. It's not a robbery because you're taking on Chris Paul's terrible contract until he's 40. Like that's huge. You think Phoenix didn't even want to give him the contract? They just had to because he was in the finals. If they didn't make the finals, I don't think they would have paid Chris Paul. But we need a trade within the next week. Absolutely. Look, if we don't get a trade by like Wednesday or Thursday, I don't think one's coming. Maybe that weekend, but I don't know. What's going on, Marcus? Appreciate you being here. Salute. Appreciate you. Did you see we were working out 3 or 4 players? Yes. I even made a video talking about it, diving into it. I don't really think any of those guys are going to play. I think that's just a due diligence move, which like, did they even really work out these guys? Because, we saw the reports and Isaiah Thomas was like, where are you getting your sources from? Like, I didn't work out granted, they could have just been wrong about him, but when you're wrong about one thing that you're reporting all at once, it makes you question everything else, but I think this is just, I don't think any of those guys are going to be on the team. I think the Lakers just doing due diligence. What if one of these guys shoots 90 for 100 from 3 or something crazy like it just looks incredible. You got to at least look into it, do your due diligence. We gave Pelinka so many chances. He doesn't deserve anymore. How many chances did he get? The guy won a championship. The next year he upgraded the roster, fans, executives, players. The Lakers were voted the most improved team. We were an Anthony Davis away from probably being in the finals again. And then last year, you had him trade for Russ because Anthony Davis and LeBron James. He's had one bad year, I guess. This year, who was there? There was nobody. We got every single player we possibly could have gotten. We weren't going to get Order Porter. Like, he was going to cost too much. Gary Payton II, we basically got Patrick Beverley and Walker and all these guys that do the same thing. And he cost too much. Outside of that, who was a player we could have gotten? Like, what was a trade we could have done? Like, Rob hasn't, like, there's nothing that Rob can do. So I don't think it's that he doesn't deserve any more chance. He's had one bad moment. Now, who knows what happens, with this? I don't understand the guard thing, but who knows? Who knows? We gotta wait until we see what the end result is before we make judgments, because how do you know what is going to happen when you haven't even given an opportunity to see what the end result is? How would you feel if, like, let's say at work, you're in the middle of, let's say you're a mechanic, you're in the middle of building a car, and as you're laying out the parts, somebody was like, "Oh, that car's gonna suck. You don't know what you're doing." Like, can I finish the car first to see what it looks like before you judge? You're just immediately assuming because I laid out all the pieces and I'm putting everything together that it's gonna look and be terrible. Like, let's give it a second. Like, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's see what ends up happening. But where are we? Smoke and mirrors, Lakers are working on trade. I think so. I could be completely wrong, but I think they are. Are Lakers frugal or cheap? I don't think they're either. I mean, Rob's being smart. Like, what deal is out there that makes us that much better? Like, what deal is there right now that we could do that's like, man, that team makes us a contender? Like, there isn't one that's worth giving up the picks and all that stuff. I don't see it. He's bad at asset management, though. Look, the one thing that I'll concede to is that, like, the whole swapping of players constantly year in and year out is tough. It's hard to build chemistry. It's hard to build, like, legit team stuff like that. Every year going into a new team, this, that, and the other. It's tough. But I mean, like, what assets has he failed to manage? You know what I mean? Like, the Anthony Davis trade, every team in the world would have done that, and we won a championship. Like, I would take that over everything. And they wanted more originally for Anthony Davis, but they waited too long. So Lakers got him for like half of what they were getting. And why would you run the risk? Why would you want a Paul George situation all over again, where another team trades for Anthony Davis and then Anthony Davis stays with them? Like, I don't knock him for what he gave up. Name me one player that we gave up in the trade that is right now leading their team to deep playoff runs. None of them. Brandon Ingram is the play-in team. Kuzma didn't even make the playoffs. Josh Hart is on a Blazers team that's probably not making the playoffs. Like, we kept Kuzma. So, I mean, I don't necessarily agree with that. You know what I mean? Like, what assets has he poorly managed? The only thing he's done is he's failed to the turnaround. The turnaround's been too crazy. Raptors got 10 wing players. Yeah, I agree. They want to run a team of, like, all wings, but I mean, if we can figure out a way to get somebody, I just don't know who we'd get or who they'd be willing to give up. Bojan is the right deal, period. I mean, look, I am all for us getting Bojan, but it depends. Titles are not in the picture. I mean, how do we know? The Dallas Mavericks were in the Western Conference Finals this past year. Like, I think this team is better than Dallas. Like, and because you never know what could happen. You never know what could happen. Like, one thing goes your way, all of a sudden you're in the Western Finals. LeBron and Anthony Davis have a monster series. All of a sudden you're in the finals. Anthony Davis and LeBron have another monster series. Boom, you win a championship. I mean, you never know. You never know how these things crush out. Why is everyone giving Rob a pass? I know this Lakers, we've had a new roster every year since the 2020 team. This guy is horrible. I mean, we only gave Russ 1 year, and he went out and treated him the same way. I mean, didn't want to trade for Russ to begin with. Like I said, I do agree. The roster turnover year in year is tough, but that's kind of always been the LeBron thing, right? Outside of, like, the big three, the key players, like the Wade and Bosh. All the other players were interchangeable for multi-years. Same thing in Cleveland. Every year they had, like, a new roster. It's just the LeBron factor. It's just how it is for LeBron when you have LeBron. Not with this roster. How do you know? How do you know? Like, like again, they haven't even played. How do you know this roster is going to be terrible? Because you don't know any of the names, because they don't look familiar to you. Like, I can't get on board with the whole this team is going to suck when we haven't even seen them play a game. If we had these players and this year we got Anthony Davis and LeBron James, everyone would be saying we just won a championship. But because we've already had LeBron and we've already had Davis, and that like high is already gone, then it's just, if we got these guys this year, people would be like, we're a contender, we're winning a championship. Anthony Davis and LeBron James duo, oh boom, this is the best team in the league, hands down. Like, because people have lost that high and they see these players, they just assume that they're not. Like, it doesn't make any sense. We've never seen these guys play. This team, again, I'll say it again because it's true. I have a whole video breaking down the statistics and giving you facts and all that stuff. This team is better in every category than the 2020 NBA championship team. So if you think that the bubble team could win this year, then you should think that this team could win this year. Just saying. I'm not saying they will, but just something to keep in mind. If the Lakers chose Kenneth Lofton as a two-way instead of Scottie Pippen Jr., I can see him promoted to a regular season roster like Reeves. He's a plug-and-play power forward. Yeah, I mean, that's the problem. It's hindsight is always 20/20. Also, I'm sure he didn't know what was going to, on how the roster was going to evolve, stuff like that. Laker fans really have the audacity to say they trust in Pelinka. I mean, again, tell me what Pelinka has done. Tell me what he's done bad. You can't judge this roster because we have no idea. So outside of that, what has he done? Okay, he traded for Russell Westbrook because Anthony Davis and LeBron James wanted it. What else has he done that's bad? Because the team after the bubble team, he upgraded. And everybody said the Lakers were voted the most improved team after winning a championship. They were the favorites to win the championship. Like, what have they done? Like, what has he done that's so bad? It's easy to say, like, oh, yeah, they didn't win. Like, he put the piece there. Anthony Davis got hurt. Who knows what would happen? Healthy Lakers and, say, another trade for, say, Bohan, Clarkson, Beasley would be slick. Those guys can play and shoot. Yeah, I mean, it just depends on what we end up giving up. This doesn't look close to that roster. Again, tell me how. I broke it down. You have Austin Reeves as your Alex Caruso. Our bigs are more versatile, more athletic, younger, shoot three, do a little bit of everything, high energy, just like that. You got a better shooting LeBron. Last time Anthony Davis worked with the lethal shooter was the bubble year. So hopefully you get back to that. We never had a Russell Westbrook. Patrick Beverley is basically our Danny Green. Like we never had a Kendrick Nunn. Kendrick Nunn was a starting point guard on the finals team we played against. Again, like, we have better shooters across the board on this team already. We only shot 34% in that bubble season. Only one player on that team, and that was KCP, on 3 attempts per game, shot 38%. On 3 attempts per game, shot 38%. Our next closest were Kyle Kuzma and Danny Green at like just around 36%. We have 4 or 5 guys that could shoot 38%. It's just like this. Look, this team could end up being terrible. Maybe people are right, but how do we know? This team hasn't even played yet. Yeah, it seems like the Pacers deal is dead, if I'm being honest. Not Pelinka's fault. Sure, this year roster looks bad, but the other years we're all praising him. It's not his fault the last year didn't work out. Exactly. I mean, everyone was talking about, oh, this team's good. Everyone's talking about like the whole, they're old. Look, we would have made the play. That team was built for the playoffs. That's why they went and died. And if Anthony Davis and LeBron James played most of the year, we probably would have made the playoffs. And then who knows what happens. I mean, I'm not saying that, they would have won anything or anything, but hypotheticals doesn't help. The reality is what you see. No deal is done. which is fine. This team, again, I'm speaking on the team we currently have. I don't know what deal they're going to make. I'm talking about the team we currently have. The team that is there right now. This team is that good. This roster not even close to the bubble team. Again, I gave you facts. Tell me I'm wrong. Prove it. You might not think it is, but sure. It's not better than the 2020 bubble. Again, tell me I'm wrong. Explain to me how I'm wrong. Tell me how I'm wrong. Like I told you, better all-around bigs. We have more shooting than we ever did. Our defense is probably going to be the same. We have a Kendrick Nunn, which we never had. If Russell Westbrook can be effective, we never had a Russell Westbrook. We have a better shooting LeBron James. Anthony Davis, last time he worked out the way he worked out this offseason was the bubble year. Tell me how. Darvin Ham is a better coach than Frank Vogel as far as X's and O's go. Jason Kidd was the coach of the 2020 team. So, again, tell me how it's not, tell me how it's not. Like, what is there that isn't? The only thing we are missing is a coup size wing, but we could get Cam. Yeah, I mean, hey, if something like that could happen, I agree. Yeah, we need something along those lines for sure. We could really use a wing. No kidding, the 2020 team was a defensive monster. Yes, they were. They were very good defensively. This team could, again, like I said, this team could be very good defensively. We don't know. I'm saying you can't. How can you judge a team based on, when you haven't even seen them play? But if we're just looking at players, first players, stuff like that, then yeah, they are very comparable. What else we got? Lakers got a bunch of ifs. I mean, isn't that every team though? Isn't that every single team? Like, what if Chris Middleton didn't get hurt last year? Would they be in the finals again? Stuff like that. Like, that's all it is until the season actually plays out. You never everything is an if until the season plays out. What's up, John? Yes, let's go. Let's go, Lakers. Let's go, Lakers. They need one more trade for wing player. We have now Schroeder and Pat Bev. Yeah, that's the only thing that makes sense to me. Now, look, I'm not saying that they will, but we don't know. We don't know. Lakers just need to complete the roster now, not late. It'll cost 2 picks. I don't see Rob doing that. I really don't. Boston had playoff experience players before last year. I'm assuming that a comment to somebody else. The bubble team was so good because LeBron played point guard and they had shooters. Who was their shooters? Again, one person. Go look it up. One person. KCP on 3 attempts per game shot 38%. Nobody else shot anywhere close to that. The overall average of that team only shot 34.5%. We were below league average as a team from 3-point shooting. So we did not have shooters. AD was playing like a top 5 player. Yes, once he got to the bubble, which, hey, and that's what I'm saying. If AD can play like that, LeBron can play like that, this team could be very good. Very good. Ham, bacon, and lamb sounds more like a barbecue than a roster. Facts. What else we got? Lakers were second favorite to the Clippers to win the title in 2020. He's wrong that people said the same thing back. No, they said this. Look, the Lakers were favored to win the championship last year, but what was the conversation? What was the narrative? That they're too old and they're not going to do it. Just because Vegas says that this team is favored to win a championship doesn't mean that the narrative and the conversation and discussion, those are two different things. That's not the same thing. A team, like I said, the Lakers were second favorite behind the Nets to win the championship last year. How did that work out? We didn't even make the playoffs. And the Nets were a play-in team. So, no, I wasn't wrong. The narrative back then was that, are these guys good enough to compete with LeBron James and Anthony Davis? Everyone was like, Anthony Davis, LeBron James is going to be the best duo ever. But is the supporting cast good enough? Those were real conversations. Those were things that people were talking about. What else? None may be liked, but he is still recovering from injuries. None of the Jazz or for Reddish. I mean, hey, look, It very likely could happen. I hope it does. I hope we get a trade. I really do. I really hope we get a trade. Different question. Do you know when those newly leaked jerseys will be available to buy? I would imagine like right before the season starts is usually when like the new jerseys become available. I believe it's like a week before. So probably like the first week of October, or like the tail end of September would be very likely. I haven't seen any like official release date, but yeah. None injured. AD will be injured. And Braun old. JTA and Bryant didn't see the floor in the playoffs. First off, according to the doctors, Kendrick Nunn and Darvin Ham, Nunn is not injured. AD, weren't you the one that left a comment that said there's a lot of ifs for the Lakers? Well, what is that? Like, we don't know that AD will be injured. Why are you just assuming? And Braun, they've been saying LeBron's been old for the last 10 years. And guess what? Last year he led the league in scoring. Hey, believe your narrative. Go ahead. I'm guessing Mitchell and Gobert better than Braun and AD because people are tripping if they think Lakers not a contender. If they do a Jazz trade, you don't know basketball. Yeah. Look, I've said there's a big difference playing with LeBron James and Anthony Davis over Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert. Big difference. If a trade to bet and the Lakers win a championship this coming year, I think people are going to call it not a real championship. Look, anytime Lakers win a championship, people are going to try to say, oh, it was because of this or it was because of that. I mean, it's the Lakers. People always want to find a reason to downplay the Lakers. It's just what it is. Look, as somebody that has a Laker channel, all of my comments are either people that are just hating just to hate. And this is a Lakers channel. Like, why are you watching Lakers videos on a Laker channel if you don't like the Lakers? But everybody, like half my comments are people hating on the Lakers and talking about this, that, and the other, or everybody's, praising Lakers. You know what I mean? Like, that's usually how it goes. It's just because when you're the Lakers, people want to talk. That's what it is. I think the Lakers have too many point guards. I could not agree more. That's why I really think a trade's got to be in the works. They got to be working on something. It just doesn't make sense otherwise. What else we got? I think keep the roster how it is till trade deadline. Bring Russ off the bench. Point guard Beverly, Russ, Schroeder, Raves, Nunn, Walker, Braun, Brown, Christie, AD, JTC. Yeah, I mean, problem is I don't think they're going to do that. I don't think that Russ is going to come off the bench. And I mean, according to Patrick Beverly, he said that that all of that was nonsense. So, how we get Clarkson and Bogdanovich? Well, if it happens, it would be in the Westbrook trade. See, the Utah Jazz have to move off of at least 2 players. They have to. I mean, they could cut players, but why? Why not get something back for those guys? And if you just cut players at the end, then that means you literally are in a position where, now you got to figure out, are you rebuilding? Are you not? Like, what are you doing? Like, so that's the thing. Let me hit that like button. Well, thank you. I appreciate it most. Hey, look, like I said it earlier, I said it in the thing. The beauty is we can all disagree. We can all agree. We can, like, that's the beauty. It's just a conversation. It's all good fun, and I love it. I love it. And everybody hit that like, let's do a follow-up. Let's see if we hit the like goal. We had a like goal. We're only at 89 likes and we have 240 people in the stream. Come on. The like goal is 150. Let's hit that like button. Let's get the likes up. You have no idea the power of the like button. The like button is so powerful for YouTubers and small creators like myself. Trying to grow really helps people get into the stream and even after the stream. So hit that like button. Help me reach that 150. And subscribers, we're at 3664. Still need 36 subscribers to reach that 3,700 goal. So there's 237 of you. You could hit my subscriber goal and you could hit my like goal all in one swoop. So help me out. I'd really appreciate it. Very thankful. It's free. Only takes a second to do both. You're already there. It's right in front of you. So just boom, we're here. And I'd appreciate it. So let's get the likes up. Help me reach 3,700 subscribers and then help me reach 150 likes. There's 250 of you. I'm sure not all of you are subscribed and I definitely know all of you haven't liked the video. So This roster is a mismatch with no size. It doesn't fit well together. Completely Frankenstein. Again, how do we know? How do we know? We don't know. That's the problem. Oh, what's going on, Elder? Appreciate you being here. Big shout outs to Elder. Elder and the Kareem show, if you guys haven't seen that, they were even gracious enough to allow me to go on their show and have that conversation. It was great. If you haven't seen that live stream video, head on over to the Kareem Report and check that out. Shout outs, Elder. Thank you. Thank you so much. I appreciate you popping in here, hanging out with me, all of that stuff. So yeah, big shout outs to them. What else? They need one more trade for wing players. We now have backcourt, Schroeder, Patrick Beverley. Yeah, we do. We could really use a wing. You know, problem is not very many that's out there. So we'll see. CP3 was traded to the Suns. He didn't sign. No, I'm saying he re-signed there. He got a new contract. Like his contract expired and they renewed him, because they went to the finals. Sabbath over. Now I'm here. Well, thank you. Really appreciate that. Jazz don't care about none. They just want the picks. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's all they want, period, are the picks. He's listed at 6'3". I'm assuming you talk about Schroeder. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's closer to 6'1". He probably is. But like I said, he has a 6'8" wingspan, so that's huge too. So that's a good size for a guard like that. Clarkson at 6'5". Clarkson is, but the problem with Clarkson is he's super inefficient. Super inefficient. The guy shoots 32% from three, 42% from the field. He's not very efficient. You know, I mean, if it gets to some wing guys and stuff, then maybe. I have no clue. Lakers are totally unpredictable. Yeah, I'm with you on that, Elder. Facts. Dennis is a taller point guard. Yeah, I know. Like I said, I know at least with his length he is. What else? What's going on, Paul? Blake got Hammy to be banned from LA. That's great. How is a team punting when they have LeBron James? Granted, he is older, but that 2018 run wasn't that long ago. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, we don't even know. We haven't even seen. Like, let this team play a handful of games before we start judging whether this team's terrible or not. Like, what happens if the Lakers start the season like 7-0 or something crazy like that? Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, the Lakers are gonna be a championship team." Like, can we let's see? Can we just see what develops? Like, can we let things kind of unfold first? Nobody can know if it will suck, but the eye test shows it is well below most teams. Both conferences are loaded this year. I mean, look, there's a lot of good things, but a lot of those guys are very talented, very young. So I don't know. They will. That is for certain. I'm pretty confident in that. I definitely think that they are better than last year. Trade thought. Russ Nunn and Gabriel for Bogdanovich, Vanderbilt, and Beasley. The problem is then they're still in the same boat. They can't. They have to do 2 or 3 for 1 swaps, and I don't think the money matches because those 3 by themselves match Russ's salary. Because you're talking like 19.5 plus 15, and then 6? So let's call it 20, 25. It's like 40 million, 40 and some change. So, Lakers roster needs one last big trade or key trade. Defense, depth, shooting, potential. Yeah, I mean, that's how it looks. It looks like they got it. It looks like something's got to be coming, right? It's what it's got to. Something's got to be. Jalen Brunson or Dennis. Give me Dennis the Menace all day. And Sunday, I feel it. Look, I still have a lot of questions about Jalen Brunson. The dude had like a 10-game stretch where he was great. Can he replicate that that could end up being one of the worst contracts in the league if he can't replicate what he did in that stretch. We've seen lots of players. Like, anyone remember Chandler Parsons? Chandler Parsons had a run like that, got a max contract, and was out of the league before his contract was up. We see it all the time. Players have this nice little run. They end up getting a huge payday, and they are never able to replicate that. He's an undersized guard. I don't know. What else is next? According to Jazz reports, I mean, maybe you know more than the Utah Jazz insiders do, but according to Utah Jazz, they're working on deals. But hey, maybe science, maybe you're like best friends with Danny Ainge or something, and he told you that the reports were lying. And it's not clickbaiting if I'm telling reports that were actually there just because you can't read. What team in the West you think this roster can legit beat in a 7-game series? I don't know, because I don't know how good this roster is going to be. I can't make predictions on something that I don't know. Like, what if this team is great? Like, I don't know. I can't make a prediction on something that I don't know that I don't even have a clue of whether there's a possibility or not. What if Anthony Davis is playing at an MVP level? What if LeBron James is still LeBron James the last year? What if they make Russell Westbrook work? What if we have a top 5 defense? Like, there's so many things that could happen. There's so many ways it could go. I mean, they could be terrible. They could be a play-in team again. But I don't know. I don't know either way. I'm just saying, people are just so quick to assume this team is terrible. But if you match them up player for player, then this team is better just from every standpoint than the bubble team was. Deep, young, and loaded. Yes, facts. Let's do the Utah Jazz deal for 3 players and get it over with. I hope so. I mean, there's no guarantee to happen. You got to remember, we have to have, the other team has to say yes to, like, it can't just be one-sided. So, they're going to put pieces together right now, who they feel are going to mesh well with Kyrie when we sign with them next. I mean, it very well could be just like a test. Like, let's see who's good. The Pacers deal still does not address the wing situation. You're right, it doesn't, but it gives us more flexibility for size, gives us better shot blocking down low, and we have enough guys with length at least to funnel shooters into the paint. So at least that would be a positive. Do you think Westbrook will be traded before the season starts? Personally, yes. Personally, I think just all the signs are pointing to a trade happening. Is it possible that it doesn't? Absolutely. But I just think, like, if you just look at everything that's happened, the Dennis Schroeder signing to me is just, that's like a big, like, red flag. That just kind of makes me think, like, there's got to be a trade. It's got to be. What else we got? The problem of not having a knockdown shooter. Shaking my head. Why would teams start Pat and Westbrook? I mean, Pat shot 38% from 3, and he's like 44%, something like that, from on catch and shoot threes. So he's one of the best on catch and shoots. I honestly think the Jazz would let the Lakers pick 83 players if they have. I do too. I really think the Jazz, if you gave up both first round picks, I think the Jazz would say you could have whoever you want. I think we could get Beasley, Vanderbilt, Bogdanovich. If we want Clarkson too, they'd be like, here's Clarkson. They basically give us anybody we want. I think the reason people aren't uninspired about this year's team is because Russ is still on. That's what I think. I think that has a huge part to it. I really do. I think that has a huge part to it. People are, I got you, Elder, and and I do. I do think that is a big factor in this. People are looking at Russ, but I mean, good coaching, good team, good chemistry. You can mask a lot. And Darvin Ham has the green light to do whatever he has to with Russ. So if Russ doesn't work, Darvin Ham has a green light to just not play him. So that's another thing people got to keep in mind too. But yeah, I do think that's kind of what people are looking at. Oh no, what happened? There we go. The same minority owner also saved Paula Dean's when she had her scandal. Oh, really? I did not know that. Interesting. Man, I just want to see what this could possibly be. Exactly. I do too. I absolutely do too. I want to let's give it a chance. Let's see. Let's I want the season to start so badly. I really do. I want to get there. Let's get there already, I really do. Lakers, the king of Seth Curry. I'm assuming that's what you mean. Big three of shooting, slam dunks, good life, restart, Sinead, Ronnie James, go fast, 35. Sure. Still the trade deadline. The problem I see with the trade deadline though is that at that point, either two things are going to happen. Either A, this team's going to be really good, or B, this team's going to be bad, and it's you might as well just save the cap, save, unless say the Nets implode and they're like, okay, we need to trade Kyrie Irving, then yeah, I could see the Lakers doing that deal. But if it's for role guys, I think the Lakers just stand pat. I think the Lakers just say, because I think either they're really good and you're not going to want to mess up chemistry, or they're just bad. And and at that point, it's will these role players be that much of an improvement? Unless they're expiring, if let's say it's 2 or 3 guys that are expiring deals, then maybe they look at it as well, maybe we can make a push with these guys. That's my only problem. Do you think Austin Reeves gets traded by any chance? I don't think so. I wouldn't completely rule it out if a deal was on the table. I think if there was a legit deal that needed Austin, I think they would trade Austin Reeves before they traded those picks. If I'm being honest, I really do. I think that if it was a first round pick or Austin Reeves, I think they would give up Austin Reeves first. Problem is that the Jazz deal, there's no way Austin Reeves gets traded. But I'm not saying that they will trade Austin Reeves, but I think let's say the Jazz, for whatever reason, just again, hypothetical. So just stick with me. I think if the Jazz were hey, you can keep your picks, but we want Austin Reeves, I think the Lakers would do that right this second. Boom, done. Here you go. Here's Austin Reeves. Yeah, that's just my personal thought. I mean, we don't know for certain, but yeah. What about Russell Westbrook for Tyler Hero? I would love that. I mean, there was that rumored anonymous exec or whatever that said Duncan Robinson, Kyle Lowry, and Tyler Hero for Westbrook, which I actually think the Heat might do just to get off of those 2 contracts, because Russ would basically give you a restart button, and I think Miami's one of the few teams that would actually play Russ. I don't think the Lakers would ever do it, and 2, I don't think either team would do it. But I definitely think the Lakers would say no, because you're basically taking on Kendrick Nunn and you're basically stuck with the same team for the next 4 years, which if it's not good enough, there's nothing you can do. You're stuck. Who said Nunn was still injured? I'm trying to figure that out too, right? We got one report 2 weeks ago that said, oh, because he's not playing 5-on-5s, there's questions about his injuries. We're not even in the training camp yet. He said he's 100%. Darvin Ham said he looks good. His people and doctors told the Lakers he was good. So everybody that would know have all said he is fine. So, sorry, trying to find a comment towards me. Russ has 3 LA homes. Yes, he does. That's why I don't put too much into him selling the home. What I was talking about earlier was that, there's so many pieces to the puzzle that it's kind of fishy. I'm not again, not saying that those all equal Russ definitely getting traded, but it is interesting. Let's go. I feel Lakers are going to shock the world. I do. I really do. I really think the Lakers are going to be very good this year. Maybe I'm being over optimistic, but I do. I look at this team and I think they'll be fine. Yeah, none of those guys are going to make the team. Absolutely not. We do not like Crowder. Yeah, I do. I agree. Like and subscribe. That is right. Like this video and subscribe to the channel. We got 241 of you beautiful people. Let's see. Did we hit the like goal? Because we're still 30 subscribers away from hitting the subscriber goal, which is 3,700. And I know there's 30 of you that aren't subscribed. And the like goal, we're at 117. We need what? We need 33 subscribers, and we need 30 subscribers and 33 likes to reach the goals. I know there's 33 of you in this stream that haven't liked this video and subscribed. Do that. Let's hit the goal. I would love that. That would make me the happiest Laker fan in the world. If we could hit the subscriber goal and we could hit the like goal. I need at least 30 of you. And don't just assume somebody else is going to do it, because that more times than not doesn't. So, we could blow past the goal. Let's blow past the goal. 150 likes, 3,700 subscribers. Help me reach that goal. That'd be amazing. Sucked. Rob, all guards need small forwards. Yeah, no, I agree. We definitely do need a small forward. I don't know. Like I said, it looks like a deal is coming. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's just very interesting. He didn't upgrade the team. He got terrible fits in Harold and Draymond alongside AD. He goes for names rather than good fits. In hindsight, you could look at anything in hindsight and say that was terrible, but he did upgrade the team. Like I said, everybody was saying, like, they won most improved team of the year. And Harold was a backup. Like, they wanted him as the sixth man. And Drummond, they got Drummond at the buyout market, so that doesn't count. But yeah, no, Harold wasn't supposed to, like, the whole thing was he was supposed to be a backup. He was supposed to fit. So no, he did. He upgraded the team. He didn't give up any of the key pieces and went and got pieces that help contribute and make things better. That's an upgrade. I don't know how anyone can defend Rob at this point. Dude didn't pull the trigger for 3 deadlines. Not one freaking move. Every year our team got worse. Again, after we won the championship, they upgraded the team, and we were an Anthony Davis injury away from very likely being in the finals again. So I don't know how that's not enough. I don't know how that's not how that's worse. The Phoenix Suns made it to the NBA Finals, right? And not only did they make it to the NBA Finals, we were up 2-1, looked like we were going to go up 3-1. They had no answer for Anthony Davis. LeBron James was making Jay Crowder look like his son. And, I don't know. Maybe I live in an alternate universe, but I'm pretty sure that was a reality. Anthony Davis goes down, that all changes. And then, this year, that entire team was put together because of LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That's all I'm saying. Arthur coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really do appreciate it. If they can allow Robert Sarver back in the league, can we pick up Miles Leonard? He deserves a second chance. Hashtag blackballed. Yeah, I think that whole punishment was a joke. That was clown shoes. Like, seriously. Like, gave him a year. That's terrible. But that is a good question. The whole Miles Leonard situation. Even like what Tyreek Evans? Could Tyreek Evans come back? Gilbert Arenas, the spring, are those as bad as what Robert Sarver did? That whole situation is just, it's a joke. Again, clown shoes, straight clown shoes. But it's crazy. But anyway, again, thank you so much, Arthur. I really do appreciate the super chat. It really does help me out a lot. Helps me out a ton. You're awesome. Thank you. What deadline moves were there? What trades were they supposed to do? Like, what was supposed to happen? Rob likes the buyout market, aka Drummond. Yeah, he does. Absolutely. Well, you never know. Look at what happened with Markieff Morris. He became a big contributor. And then, Drummond was a good idea at the time. It just didn't work out. What else? The problem of not having knocked down 3-point shooter. Just reposted it. Yeah, like I said, we do have guys. Hello, people. NBA cap space is real. Rob playing chess for 23, 24, 25. I mean, they do. They'll have plenty of cap space for sure. Yeah, because next year the cap goes up, and then in 2025 the cap is supposed to go up huge with the new TV deal kicking in. So the Lakers might have like a ton of cap going forward. I mean, when your two stars play like stars and you have that third guy show up, that's usually what happens. Yeah, that's how it goes. So what's the difference this season? If LeBron James and Anthony Davis, we have you said we won a chip because we had LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So if we have LeBron James and Anthony Davis this year, and let's say one of those guys show up like Rondo, why couldn't we win the championship this year based on what your comment says? If you compare the Clippers to any team in the role players, it looks so bad. The Clippers might have the best team on paper in the league. That's a terrible comparison. Like any team you look at, and you have a billionaire owner who didn't care about going crazy in the luxury tax because all he wants to do is win. That's not a good comparison, period. That's not at all. Clippers paid more for Paul George than the Lakers did for AD, and Kawhi and Paul George experiment has been a massive failure. Thank you, Tron. I'm with you. Absolutely. It's just we're the Lakers. Nobody's talking about the Clippers. Nobody cares about the Clippers. I mean, Anthony Davis has played more games than Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, and Anthony Davis is the one that's injury prone. You know what I mean? Like Anthony Davis has played more games than like half the stars in this league. Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, Kawhi Leonard, Paul George, Ben Simmons. Like that's just to name a few off the top of my head. And AD is the only one that has the injury prone label. Like it's silly. Only signed our second round pick to 2-year deal. Almost every other team signs in 3, so they have them on a cheaper token deal for actually. Yeah, that's a big thing that Rob did because he wants to preserve the cap. But the problem is you get one of those guys that end up becoming a standout. You basically screwed the pooch on them. So what that is that's Rob trusting year in and year out, this team can find quality in the draft, which is not the best thing, but that's basically what that is. I'm just saying people defending Rob just don't like to see the facts. If you compare us to the top front offices, it's embarrassing. What facts? We won the championship 2 seasons ago. Like literally. Then the Bucks won, and then the Warriors won again. Like we're only 2 championships removed from winning a championship. What front office is doing just these amazing moves that are making them contenders? You know, like I don't understand. Like what facts? Again, Rob Pelinka, the year after we won a championship, upgraded the team, was voted most improved team. We were in Anthony Davis. Our best player got hurt, and we lost. That happened to the Bucks this season. You know, like, I mean, Giannis is the best player, but still, they lost Chris Middleton, and they didn't make. They probably would have went to the finals again, just like the Lakers that year. And then who knows what would happen? Then we'd be talking back-to-back championships, and everyone would be saying Rob is the greatest GM in the world. It's easy to say something when things don't work out. It's easy to say this was a terrible move when things don't work out. You know, but if the Lakers would have won that year, everyone would have been praising it. Just, you know, and that's the thing. It's just he made quality moves. It just didn't work out. Anthony Davis got hurt. You can't predict that. You can't even make moves in a thought that that's going to happen. If every team made moves on the idea that their best player goes down, the rosters would be all over the place. Lakers have their first and second in this year's draft. They have to get paid, so next year's salary cap will be even smaller than estimated. Yeah, but they can always flip those guys. Like that's easy. There's every team in the league will take those guys for free, essentially. They just have to draft the guys. They could draft them for another team. So I'm not really worried about that if they need the space. Better than Dallas? Yeah, I think they're better than Dallas. They have Luka And who else? Name me one player on that team. Like, let's say LeBron and Luka cancel each other out. Name me one player on that team that's even close to Anthony Davis. Name me one player on that team that's even close to Russell Westbrook. I'm not talking about fit. I'm talking about just on that because we don't know. Maybe Darvin Ham can make Russ fit. I'm saying, like, name me one player that is better than Anthony Davis, one player that's better than Russell Westbrook. Name me a player that is, that much better than Kendrick Nunn. Yeah, I think they're better than Dallas. I did watch Lowry. He came off of an injury. Beauty of players like Lowry is even if they don't score, they bring value through their passing, floor spacing ability, and just straight IQ. I mean, there's always guys like that. I mean, although Lowry, in that finals, there was a couple times where he was a big liability. I know all the players on the roster. That's the problem. A lot are bottom 20% in the league. I mean, the guys that probably don't see the floor are, but like Pat Bev, he's not in the bottom 20%. LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Russell Westbrook, Kendrick Nunn, Dennis Schroeder. Those guys are not in the bottom 20%. Like, yeah, JTA, Troy Brown, sure. But I didn't even mention those guys. Why sign our rookies to 2-year deals? I had to pay THC early and puts us in crap. Then we do the same with the max. Yeah, that's a huge problem. He does it to preserve cap. And like I said, it's I don't know this for certain, but my guess is that he looks at it as like our scouting department is so good they can find us that replacement year in and year out. That's my only problem. That would be my guess. I think Pelinka did as good as he could with as little as he had. Absolutely. This year he did great. I mean, maybe not the Dennis Schroeder signing, but outside of the Dennis Schroeder signing, which doesn't make a lot of sense, other than that, he's done very good. He got every single player we could possibly get this offseason. This free agency was terrible. And he got everybody we could have got. We were never going to get Otto Porter Jr. because we couldn't afford him. Gary Payton II, we basically got Patrick Beverly and everyone else. Like, we got 3 guys that basically do that, and he's going to cost too much. Outside of that, like, who was somebody that we could have really realistically gotten that would have made us that much better? There wasn't anybody. How can this team be better in every category when they haven't played a game, as you would say? Because, again, if we're going off of just this team and the stats that they put up, because that's the only thing we have to compare right now, is this team's statistics, and then you take this team's statistics and you average it out. This year's team is better than the bubble team. Chemistry and stuff like that always go into it, of course. But that bubble team built that chemistry that year. This team could do the same thing. We don't know. This team's chemistry could be fantastic. We don't know. But the things that we can look at and compare, this roster this year is better than that bubble team roster. If you look it up, I made an entire video breaking it all down for you. If you don't want to spend 2 hours looking it all up. Right now, Nets are emotional. You have to abuse that if you want to get rid of and get Kyrie. The problem is they're not going to trade Kyrie at all, at least until maybe the trade deadline if it blows up. If Kyrie was available right now, believe me, the Lakers would have done. The Lakers offered everything that they have to offer to the Nets, and they said no. Kyrie was never coming to Lakers as long as KD was on that team. What else? AD and Braun are not playing the whole season. Stop banking on their past play. Both are not the same. Okay, so if we're not banking on the past and they haven't played this year, how can you make a comparison? What do we have to go off of? So, and okay, you're saying AD and LeBron are not playing the whole season, what are you judging that off of? I don't, the past? Like, so what is it? Because your comment completely contradicts itself. You're either judging things off the past or you're not. So if we're judging things off the past, then here's the facts that I've relayed and I've put out there. That's the reality. But if you're not basing it on the past, then what do we have to base it on? So how can you say LeBron and AD aren't going to play the whole season? We have no idea. Is it likely they don't? Yeah, but we don't know that. What if they do? LeBron's made it a point to play the entire season before. So, like, what if that happens? And then Anthony Davis, how do we know? What if he doesn't get hurt this season? What if he does? Like, the injuries last season were just freak accidents. Like, you can't control somebody flying 30 feet and crashing into your ankle. Like, that just is not something you have control of. So that's what I'm saying. Like, the arguments are, oh, it's this or that. Like, how? Like, we have no way to do it. People just type in a type, no real thinking. Exactly, Mo. Exactly. That's what it is. Like, it's breakdowns. Like, you gotta look it out. Mo again, just type in a type. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People just type in a type. Like, they're just saying stuff. Like, I've given you the facts. Again, tell me I'm wrong. Show me something that says I'm wrong. People just hate us because we're the Lakers and we're the best NBA team in franchise history. We're the biggest brand. They are haters. We got 17 picks. I mean, I don't think necessarily everybody's a hater. I think most people just don't know all the ins and outs. I just think most people don't, most people don't take the time to look into everything. They just look and know what they know. I think that's what it is more times than not. Because, look, there's a lot of diehard Laker fans that talk just atrociously about this team. And it's like, how do you know? Like, I'm waiting for the rush trade to grasp better what was Pelinka's strategy. That's my thing too. Like, let's wait and see what the end result is. Like, how can we judge Pelinka when we might not be done yet? Let's go into the season, and like, once we start the season and that's our roster, then go, okay, here's the thing. Everybody's jumping the gun on, like, this team's going to be good. Like, how do we know? We don't know. Like, nothing's happened yet. Like, even Rob, like, how do we know? Like, what if Rob pulls off a great deal? What if Rob pulls out Bogdanovich and Beasley for, like, a pick swap in 3 seconds? I'm not saying that that'll happen, but what if it does? Everyone's going to be praising Rob again. Oh, Pelinka fleeced Ainge. Like, oh my God. He's going to be the greatest GM in the world. Like, let's let cooler heads prevail. Let's wait and see what ends up happening. I said the Lakers took a step forward in three-point shooting and 2 steps back in defense after the bubble. I was right. I mean, in hindsight, yeah, everything happens. He was Lakers just had to go after him. Nets were very emotional about early on. We started stalling, and I mean, we don't know that. You didn't say the wing position. You said our team. You said our entire roster. Like, if you want to argue like a position got worse, okay, sure, maybe. But I mean, we've had LeBron as our wing for a lot of it. But even outside of that, like, we had Kuz, stuff like that. Like, last year was the real, like, change to the wing position. And even then, like you said, our roster. You didn't say this position. You said our roster got worse. There are several better teams in both conferences this year than during the bubble year. See, that's a good argument. I can understand that, JC. And I do agree with you. There are better teams this year. I 100% see somebody that actually thought out a real argument. But yeah, no, both of these sides definitely have much more stacked teams than that bubble year. I do agree with that. But again, who knows? I'll still take my chances with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Let's see what this team could be. Now, what if this team looks great? What this team is top 5 defense, top 5 offense. We led the league in, like, fast break points last year. Or we were like top 3, something like that. Probably going to be very fast and very good again this year. Our problem wasn't scoring last year. We just couldn't stop anybody. We averaged like 114 points per game. So we were great score. We were in like the top percentile as far as scoring goes. We just were like 29th in defense. that makes things tough. It's hard when you can't stop anybody. Yeah. LOL, y'all just saying anything. Pat Bev is 6'1", Danny Green is 6'6". Yes, but Pat Bev also has a 6'7" wingspan and has been a better three-point shooter, has also just a pest on defense. Reeves, not AC. Nunn won't be Monk, let alone himself from the bubbles. How do you know that? And Kendrick Nunn is better than Malik Monk. As a whole, yes. But no, people weren't shocked that we got Malik Monk for the price we did. People were shocked we got Kendrick Nunn for the price we did. Like, yeah, Nunn is better than Monk. Like, Nunn is much better than Monk. Oops. Only teams that you can argue are better are Clippers and Warriors. Yeah. Okay, if we were going down the list again, we haven't seen this team play, so I can't say that they're going to be great. But the only teams that I see that I go they could be really tough. Like I don't think the Lakers. I think the Lakers would struggle to beat is the Clippers and Warriors. I'm not worried about Dallas. I'm not worried about Denver. I'm not worried about the Pelicans or the Wolves or the Grizzlies. I'm not worried about those. Like come playoff time, I'm not worried about those teams. Clippers and Warriors, yeah, those are the only two teams. The only thing is, like when it comes to the Clippers, I can't believe in them until they actually like do something. Like every year since Lob City, every year's been their year, and they are just terrible. But 2020 chemistry was A1 facts, absolute facts. But again, we don't know. We don't know if, for all we know, their chemistry could be good this year. I don't know. I'm operating on the mantra of I don't know. But there's a lot of people operating on like facts that aren't facts. What else we got? This year, if we go off paper from last year, we are the 30th team in the NBA shooting wise. How is that better? If we're going off of paper for last year, because who knows how good this team is going to shoot? Again, we're 34%. Who was it? Trevor Lane? Trevor Lane did the breakdown. We would shoot like 30, we'd be about 35%. We basically would be the same 3-point percentage as that bubble team. Trevor Lane ran all the numbers, did all that stuff over on Laker Nation. And I think he came to it was like 34.5% or something, which was the bubble team. So on paper, they should shoot as good. But we got a better shooting LeBron. We got Patrick Beverley. Also, he did that before we got the Patrick Beverley acquisition. And he incorporated THTs like 28%, stuff like that. So we're probably closer to like 36%. So chemistry. Yeah, chemistry is a huge thing, but we don't know how this team's chemistry. It's not like that bubble team had 3 years to build chemistry. This is before the Beverly, though, so maybe 25th. Oh, okay. So yeah. Yes. Frank, a championship coach, and Ham, a rookie. How is he better? How many championships did Frank win before the LeBron James championship? He had arguably the second best team in the East and wasn't able to get it done. Again. Monk was awesome for the Lakers. Absolutely. Monk was incredible for the Lakers. But he's like Kendrick Nunn can do so much more. They have Dudley. That's why chemistry is so good at 2020. I mean, yeah, Dudley definitely helped. But like I said, Jason Kidd was the guy. Jason Kidd was the coach. Like he was the leader. He was the guy that everyone respected. it's not a coincidence. Jason Kidd leaves and this team falls apart. Like, all those numbers you mean nothing without chemistry. Yes, but we don't have chemistry to go off of right now. All we have is what we have right now. Their chemistry could be great and they could be the best team in the league. For all I get. Ham was an assistant coach for 2021. He comes from a very good pedigree. Very good pedigree. Russ Westbrook, Austin Reeves, Winnie Gabriel to the Jazz from Lake, Jared Vanderbilt, Pod, and Gay to the Lakers. Thing is, I don't know if they would do that because they have to move off of 2 players. And they're getting back 1, 2, 3 for 4. Yeah, you probably have to keep winning Gabriel or Austin Reeves. Are you saying like no draft picks? I'm pretty sure that they would want draft, especially if they're giving Beasley and Vanderbilt. But you never know. Lakers defense was awful last season and still need another big to help with shot blocking and rebounding. If we can't get Vanderbilt, then we need to get Turner Hill use ball first. I don't think we need another big. I mean, Turner would be nice. Don't get me wrong, because Turner is basically Damian Jones and Thomas Bryant meshed together into one player. But I don't think we need another big because, I mean, we got Anthony Davis. We got already 2 big men. And, Anthony Davis probably going to play the 5 in some spots, some matchups, some teams, some situations, stuff like that. So I think it just depends. I like this team. Real players, not players like Reeves, who sucks championship too. I wouldn't say Reeves sucks, but shooters didn't make shots, but people feared those shooters and they still spaced the floor. Yeah, I mean, that's floor spacing is always good. We had floor spacers, but we were the best defense in the league with 2 MVP caliber plays. Exactly, 100%. And that very well could be the case this year. Very well could be the case this year. This team has so many good vets. I'm happy with the proven players. Yeah, I mean, look, I think Patrick Beverley is going to be huge. I think they're going to be huge. I think that obviously LeBron, Anthony Davis. I think Kendrick Nunn, he has that experience. He was in a final, stuff like that. So, the bubble team had a championship experience with Rondo, Danny Green, and JaVale McGee. Dwight had a lot of playoff experience. This team has a bunch of nobodies who haven't done anything. I mean, Patrick Beverley, Kendrick Nunn was in an NBA Finals. You have LeBron James and Anthony Davis still. I mean, it's not a bunch of nobodies. You have guys that have been to the finals. You have guys that have been deep playoff runs, all of that stuff. So, yeah, it's not right. What's up, Mo? Chat super silent. He's calling all you focus 2020 history. Yeah. I'm just stating facts. Whether you choose to believe them or not, that's up to you. It's up to your interpretation. Like I said, go look it up and tell me I'm wrong. Looking for something to me. Lakers would be defensively good if the new players buy in. We'll see D-Ham's work. Yeah, I do. I think this team could be very good defensively. Very good defensively. 38-6 is an old trolls facts. I'm with you. Because I love to tell the Laker fans the truth. They won't tell each other. I have literally done nothing but given you facts and proven every one of your comments wrong. I don't know how you're saying the truth when you haven't been right in one thing you've said. I appreciate you though. I really do. I appreciate the comments. I appreciate the back and forth. Thomas Bryant breakout season. Hey, look, he's coming back from injury. He was very solid. He's had his moments. I wouldn't be shocked if he's really good for the Lakers. Cleveland Cavaliers to get of power of this good for life start winner team is looking a little better shooter. First Lakers best 23. Assuming you mean Cleveland Cavaliers are going to be good. I'm assuming that's going to be my guess, and I do. I think that they have potential to be very good. Very good. Vogel sabotaged the team last year because the management or front office, they had letting go out the 2020 team. I mean, Vogel just, he was rough all around. Are the Lakers planning to bench Russ for good if he doesn't buy in? There are plethora point guards to replace him. I don't think so. I think so. My guess is he probably starts at least 20 to 30 games. After that 20 to 30 games, if it's not working, I think they send him to the bench, have him come off the bench, run that for another 20 or 30 games, and then reevaluate. And then worst case, if it's not working, then he'll probably play like 10 minutes a game. Maybe get some DMP, stuff like that. I subscribed today. Keep it up. Well, thank you so much, Mo. I appreciate you. Welcome aboard. And I really do. I really thank you all. I appreciate everybody that's here having these chats, having these conversations. It is awesome. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, it's all just good fun. Look, I'm a dude on YouTube. I say it time and time again. I enjoy talking sports. I love being in this position. I really am. I'm very thankful, very blessed. And to have 240 people basically in this stream start to finish is amazing. Like, to be able to have this many people to talk to, I'm very thankful. So, and I appreciate everybody, all the super chats, all of the likes, all the subscribers, all of that, everybody that's just hanging out watching. I do. I appreciate it. But let's do a check on have we met our goals? We haven't met our subscriber goal. We're still 26 subscribers away from hitting our subscriber goal. So hit that subscribe button. I know there's 26 of you that aren't subscribed. Don't just trust somebody else to subscribe. Help me get to 3,700 subscribers. That would be amazing. We are 26 subscribers away. I know there's 26 of you. And as far as the likes, we need 10 likes from the goal. So we need 10 likes, and I need 26 subscribers. Let's make it happen. I know you can do it. So subscribe, like. Thank you. Trevor Lane believes there will be a competition for starting point guards between Schroeder and Westbrook. Trevor Lane was going off of the reports that came in yesterday, because I saw live stream and he was talking about it. So that's what he was going off of. But Patrick Beverley came out today on Twitter and said like that whole report was nonsense. So Brody is a goner. I actually think so. I personally think they end up trading him. I could be wrong, but I do. I think they end up trading him. Excuse me. You gave up one of your best defenders and now one of your top picks who hasn't even touched his prime. Yeah, safe to say, indeed, the Jazz are in rebuild mode. I'm assuming you mean Stanley Johnson is one of our best defenders. I wouldn't say he's one of our best defenders. I think he's a solid defender. And then one of our top picks, look, THT, I did not like them trading THT. I didn't want them to trade THT. I've been a huge defender of THT, but I do understand why they did it. And you get somebody that helps you more now, and you free up that extra cap space. So, you keep bringing up my comments because I'm challenging you. I mean, I've brought up every comment in order. Like I'm not skipping over comment. I literally am going over every single comment because I'm challenging you. All you could say is, "How do you know? Now, if you can't see the flaws, you are blind." What have you said that I haven't disproved? What have you said that unvalidates the facts that I have given? Nothing. You're saying a bunch of nothing. You really are. Like, you're saying a bunch of just nothing and maybe. Like, that's why I keep saying, "How do you know?" Because you're not saying anything factual. You're saying things that may or may not happen. You're saying a lot of what ifs. I could come up with a million what ifs. What if let's say, what if Patrick Beverley shoots 53% from three? What if Walker is the second coming of Jordan this upcoming season? Like, I could say a lot of ridiculous, outrageous what ifs. You're not challenging me in anything. I'm not bringing up your comments because you're saying something that challenges me. I'm bringing up your comments like I've brought up every single person's comments in this chat. People are silly. Salute, chat. Yeah, absolutely. Salute. It's just funny. I saw someone say Justin a fan. I seen that kid before. Hey, look, I have no problems with people challenging me. I have no problems with people, having those conversations. Look, I love it. I wouldn't bring that stuff up. I wouldn't ask people at the end of my videos to, say, hey, leave your thoughts and opinions. I wouldn't respond to all the comments. I wouldn't do all that if I was worried about people, having discussions. That's what it's about. It's fun. It's enjoyable. This is entertainment. That's all this is. Again, it's just YouTube. But he's making it seem like I'm just solely going after his comment because he's challenged. No, I've gone through every single person's comments. But anyway, people are silly, like I said. But yeah, salute LeBron James Lodge. I appreciate you. I'm a huge fan, Laker fan. I wish you would interview me. I'm a new sub. I appreciate you. And look, maybe one day I've had people ask if I'd ever bring on like subscribers. That problem is, and I'm not saying you would do that. I'm not saying anyone would do that, but YouTube is extremely very strict. Like I can't even bring up comments on the screen depending on what you say in the comments. And I've done it before, where I'll just answer the question, but I won't bring it on screen because YouTube's very strict. And, all it takes is for somebody to say something stupid or, say something by accident or whatever, or just say something that they don't understand, but it just sounds bad or it's interpreted and boom, it's really bad. So it's hard. That's the problem. YouTube's very strict on things you say, things you do, this, that, and the other. They have all the community guidelines and that's the problem. Otherwise I would love to, bring people on and have conversations and, let people have discussions in real time. That'd be great. As it stands, salute, Supreme. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Jazz aren't trying to tank this year or ever. Watch the most recent Danny Ainge interviews. They will be better than most think. Nobody's going to say they're going to take. Like, which team has ever came out and been like, I'm purposely tanking? Look, and I've said they still have a really good roster. Like, even if they trade Bogdanovich and Conley, or not Conley, Clarkson. Like, let's say they do the Beasley, Bogdanovich, and Clarkson deal to the Lakers. They still have a really good team. So yeah, we're really well positioned for a Turner Hill deal. I agree. I think so too. Perfect cheap backfiller for Boston. I agree with you, Tim. I have said if we could get, just imagine having those two pit bulls at the front door as Beverly and Schroeder. And then you have the two big ass bouncers at the back door. And then you got LeBron as the host. That is just, come on, give me that. Let's do that. Let's run that. But I don't think it'll happen unless they come down off of their price. Their price is insane. LOL, Jazz are trying to tank. Yeah. You don't blow up your team not trying to tank. They made some nice moves. They got some solid players, but Danny Ainge knows what he's doing. Danny Ainge isn't looking at the team going, oh man, we're a contender. Like, no, he's not. What is he supposed to say? You get fined if you say something stupid. So he's not going to say, yeah, we purposely trying to tank. No, he's going to say we're really good, this, that, and the other. Seems very odd to sign Dennis Schroeder without trading any of those guards. That's why I think a trade is coming. I think the Lakers, and again, I don't know this, I'm just guessing, but I think the Lakers have something, at least like the framework worked out. And, that's the only thing that really makes sense to me. Again, I don't know that for sure. Maybe we don't get a trade, but just weird. Is there possibility the trade has come in before training camp? I imagine a trade does. Danny Ainge and Rob Pelinka both said they want to get a deal, not necessarily together, but they both said separately that they would love to do a deal, that whatever trades or whatever before training camp. So I imagine if that happens, it will. Exactly. They're expecting insanity from Brunson. Yeah, see, like that's another great example. You have why am I blanking on his name? Jeremy Lin. Yeah, like Jeremy Lin is a great example of a guy that he has a incredible stretch and he's never able to replicate that ever again. Perfect example, Mo. Ends up getting a huge ass deal. He got several big deals. Let's see. I can only see Reddish getting to the Lakers if he gets bought out. They won't. I don't think they'll buy out Reddish. I think that they want to trade him, but I don't think they buy him out. Lakers need Derrick Jones Jr. at small forward. I don't know about that. Butler go up to the year of heart good. So the team shoot 3. The year new players all time get. Sure. I don't think LeBron James and AD asked for Westbrook. I think the front office ran it by them and they signed off. But you can't put the blame on the players. They aren't running the organization. Of course you can't. I mean, 2 superstars are. No, there's not a GM in the league that would have said no. And they did ask for Westbrook. I mean, that was public information. They had a meeting and sat with Westbrook and literally, Rob Pelinka said, I had a deal for Buddy Hield. We know it was LeBron James and Anthony Davis. That information was out there. It was put out there publicly, And if LeBron James and AD didn't want that, they would have said, I didn't want it, especially after the blowout. But no, I mean, the information was there. I mean, AD and LeBron James asked for Russell Westbrook. Because he was going to go make the deal for Buddy Hield. The Kings thought they were going to go finalize the paperwork, and Rob Pelinka said no. So it wasn't like Rob was in the middle of doing another deal, and it completely fell apart, and the Kings were pissed. So I mean, no, we know for a fact it was LeBron James and Anthony Davis, and there is not a GM in the league that would have said no. So just say, I mean, look at what the Nets did for Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. Braun definitely goes on the rest. Yeah, I mean, they were the ones that brought it to Rob. Again, we knew that for a fact. Kelly Oubre at the small shooting guard, small forward spot. I mean, I wouldn't mind that at all. Problem is, how do we get him without taking on a Terry Rozier or something like that, which is kind of redundant. Yeah, exactly. Pelinka wanted DeRozan and Hield. DeRozan himself said, I thought I was going to the Lakers. Literally said that in an interview. Said, I thought I was a Laker. And they decided to go a different direction. Clarkson and Beasley would be great. I agree. I mean, I'm not too big on Clarkson, but I was hoping Russ and none being traded before trade game. It's a very real possibility. We still got at least 2 weeks, something like that, 10 days. Dennis and Rush share the same agent who said that Dennis was promised there would be minutes for Dennis. I think a trade is coming too. I think so too. Yeah, I mean that was what the agent said. He said, yeah, that he was promised there'd be plenty of minutes for everybody. So got to imagine that a trade's coming. Another nightmare for Laker fans if Westbrook is still there. I don't think so. I'm actually not completely against the Lakers keeping Russ. I've said that from day one, that I'm not 100% against Russ staying with the Lakers. Issue is they want Russ to play like Caruso, but his salary is 10x Caruso. Yeah, I mean they do. They want Russ to play defense. I mean we'll see. We'll see how Russ plays out. I think the 4-out 1 in offense is going to be good. Not just that, but I'm sure Darvin Ham will run that buttery pick and roll that worked great, that Frank Vogel just decided to stop doing. The first 2 games of the season, they ran a pick and roll with LeBron James, Westbrook, and Anthony Davis and Westbrook. And then it was they scored on 8 of 9 attempts running that play. And then they just didn't run it again for 4 months. It was insane. And the first time they ran it again, they scored off of it. It makes no sense. I don't see Ham doing that. Yeah, it fills the holes. We are clearly missing. Yeah, exactly. Jazz get those picks and Lakers looking super good. I don't see them doing that. That's the trade I see that would actually realistically happen. Did I miss one? Oh, I missed this one. That's one. Westbrook and Nunn being moved for these Bohan, Clarkson, and Beasley. The thing is that's too much salary for the Jazz to take on. Because Bohan, Beasley, so that's 15, 19, let's just call it 20, that's 35, 40, that's 43 million coming in. And Westbrook and Nunn would be 53 going out. It's too much salary. They won't. You got to remember the Jazz are hard cap too. So guards for guards. I think. Look, I don't know this for certain. So look, Kendrick Nunn can play the two. Kendrick Nunn and Patrick Beverley can play the two too if need. Like the only way I see the roster as is the report that Jovan Buha, I believe, was the one that him and Sam said, not the Mark report, because I believe the Mark report was the one that said that they're going to be competing, which Patrick Beverley said is incorrect. So the only way I see this working is you have Schroeder and Westbrook playing the one. Those are your two point guards. And then you have Patrick Beverley and Kendrick Nunn playing the two. Because both of them are 38% three-point shooters. Both of them can play on or off the ball, all that stuff. That would be my guess. And then you have Walker, who has a 6'10 wingspan, and Austin Reeves backing up LeBron at the 3. And then you have Anthony Davis at the 4 with Wynn and Gabriel and JTA. And then you have Thomas Bryant, Damian Jones, and Anthony Davis playing the 5s. That would be my my guess. Yeah, they're not going to bet. Like they already said that they're not going to send him home or anything like that. He's going to play, and you got him. Like I mentioned it earlier, Lakers aren't good enough to tank, and they're not in a position to, or sorry, they're not good enough to not play him, and they're not in a position to tank. So, Lakers rebuilding and defense needs to be improved as much as shooting. These both picks, Vanderbilt needs to be the centerpiece of Jazz trade or get Hill Charter. If the Jazz will finally give up Vanderbilt, the problem is they're very adamant based on the reports. Why are the Lakers in love with cap space? No good players really available besides Kyrie, and that's sketchy. I mean, who can we trade that's going to be? I mean, look, there's a lot like Miles Turner, free agent. Bogdanovich, a free agent. You have guys like James Harden. I'm not saying he would leave, but like, what if he's terrible in Philly and they have a falling out or something? Like there are guys. Look, there's not any big names, but there's a lot of like mid-tier guys. Like Gary Trent Jr. could opt out. Like you could get Gary Trent, Otto Porter Jr. and like Miles Turner with that cap space. Like that's a pretty good starting five. That's better than anything the Lakers put out by doing a trade or anything like that. It's just having the flexibility because you never know what could arise, what could end up on the table. What happens if this offseason, what if you don't have the cap space? And what happens if, Kyrie wants to sign? You could work out a sign and trade for Kyrie and, maybe take on a Joe Harris because you have that cap space. Maybe that's the only way the deal gets done, something like that. But if you don't have the cap space to do that, then, maybe Kyrie has to go elsewhere and the Nets are like, we're not going to trade with you, we'll just let him walk, whatever. I just subbed. Thank you so much, Anik. I really appreciate it. And everybody that's subbing. We are 20 subscribers away from my goal, and we have 222 of you. So I need 20 people to hit that subscribe button. Don't just trust somebody else to hit that subscribe button. I want you to hit that subscribe button. And do we reach the like goal? Let's see if we reach the like goal. We are at perfect. We hit the like goal, but that doesn't mean stop hitting the like button. Let's blow the like goal out of the water. And let's hit that subscriber goal. I need 20 subscribers. We're almost there. Help me get to 3,700 subscribers. That would be beautiful. That would be gorgeous. I would greatly appreciate it if you all would hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I'm sure there are 20 of you that are not subscribed. As a matter of fact, I know there are 20 of you that are not subscribed. But where were we? Oh, we are at William. William coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat. I really do appreciate you. We don't know AD and LeBron James. They demanded Westbrook. That's what the media told us, but I can only speculate like the rest of us are doing. Look, so we know for a fact Rob Pelinka and the Kings, because the Kings said that publicly. So we know for a fact Rob Pelinka was doing a Buddy Hield deal. That they were working on the paperwork, finalizing the paperwork to get a Buddy Hield deal done. That we know. Like, that's not speculation. That wasn't made by the media. That wasn't it. Like, that we know for a fact. And we know that DeMar DeRozan said he thought he was going to the Lakers. So unless Rob Pelinka just decided at the end of negotiating, coming to an agreement, and filling out the paperwork, said, I don't want to do this trade anymore. Instead, I want to go get Westbrook. What do you guys think? I believe the reports. I don't think it was speculation. And we know for a fact, because LeBron and Davis said that they met with Westbrook and they had a conversation. They said that. They said that they had the conversation about teaming up together. Like, that, again, is a fact. Like, we know for a fact that LeBron James and Anthony Davis were the ones that wanted Russell Westbrook. Like, we know that. It's not speculation. Like, LeBron and Anthony Davis said that they had that meeting and had that conversation. So, yeah, I don't think it was speculation. I think it was facts. But anyway, nonetheless, whether we agree or disagree, how we feel about it, I do. I thank you very, very much for the super chat. Thank you very much. Seriously. Thank you. Where were we? We were, there we go. Yeah, so here we are. Boom, found it. He ain't going nowhere. He has the Kobe factor. That's a good point too. I'm sure that helps. This guy wants 4 points. Miles Leonard, jeez, from earlier. That was funny. Looks like he's playing the waiting game. Yeah, I mean, look, he's got to be patient. He's got to keep it going, keep it flowing. You'll see. We still have time. We still don't need to rush. His name is Rob for a reason. He's going to rob the Jazz. I hope so. I really do. Would Pat Bev be an upgrade over playoff Rondo? I don't know. I mean, like, the bubble playoff Rondo shot like 40% from three, which, I mean, Pat Bev shoots 38%. I mean, they're probably pretty comparable. But Rondo was something. In that bubble, dude, that dude was something else. Like, that dude was incredible. Like, I can't argue Rondo's incredibleness, but I don't think Pat Bev will be too far off. I think he'll be better defensively than Rondo. I think he naturally shoots that percentage that Rondo shot in the bubble. I mean, playoff Rondo is, man, that dude is something else for sure. Sorry, trying to find something to me. Expectation-wise, last year was our worst year. We lost our depth when we traded for Russ. Yeah, last year, like I've said, I understand the argument of like last year was the worst year in Laker history, just based on like what it looked like, what the expectation was leading to like what the result was. Yeah, I can understand that. They really aren't going to have much cap space next year, as everyone is saying. I can definitely say between draft picks, next draft, and cap increase, it will change the value of some contracts to some degree. But like everyone we have under contract, like LeBron technically would go up, but it's like $1 million or something, not even that much. And then, like I said, the picks, if they need to, somebody will take. They could just draft for another team and then get some like second rounds on the back half or whatever. Like, it won't be like if the Lakers need to get to that like 46 million or whatever, they can get there. Dennis from the Philippines, what's going on? By hook or by crook, it's really a must to trade Westbrook Green players. Well, first off, Dennis, thank you so much. I always get a lot of love from the Philippines. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Thank you. And yeah, we definitely need a trade. I mean, that's what it looks like. It looks like there's going to be some sort of trade that's happening. I mean, I don't know for certain, but it's kind of what it's shaping up to look like. What else? Danny Ainge won the Tucker trade. I think it was pretty mutually beneficial because the Lakers traded Tucker for a very specific reason. One, Patrick Beverley helps now. Two, Patrick Beverley, better shooter. Three, it clears $12 million off of the cap next season. Four, it cleared off a roster spot. You know, that's the thing. Like, it was a mutually beneficial trade. Lakers got everything they needed in that trade, or everything they wanted in that trade. The roster is way too small. They're in trouble and punting the season. Essentially, without a trade of Westbrook, need 3 and D, more role now. I mean, I wouldn't say they're punting the season, but you know, could they use another wing? Yeah, absolutely. I am not a fan of AD, but he is a great player. I need to see him be MVP level. Problem is he's so inconsistent at times. He's so like that's the biggest problem. He just is so inconsistent. Dude said it better all time. No, I didn't think he's all time better. I just said he's if we're making that comparison of the bubble. What's wrong with being great? Monk better, dude, was amazing last year. Just because he had a good year doesn't mean he's better. Like, people forget what Kendrick Nunn did the year prior. How are you going to say that we're not good yet when season hasn't even started yet? It's like me saying, I don't like this food, but I haven't even tried it and won't until you try it. Exactly. It's like the analogy I said earlier. It's like, it would be like if you were getting ready to build a car and you started putting the pieces together to the car and everyone told you the car is going to suck and it looks like shit and this, that, the other. It's like, I haven't even finished. I like, we don't even know what's going to, you don't even know what the car is going to look like. You know, you're just going off of like the pieces laying here. Like, let's wait and see what gets put together. Can't be good one year, great the other, mid the third, etc. Round it up, say great. Yeah, I mean, consistency is a big thing. Bro, you watch the same games Westbrook was playing for the other team. None is good, but hurt still, so can't judge. I mean, yeah, none. Well, he's not hurt still. Everybody that is important outside of like some reporter that had an anonymous source have all said that he's good to go. And Russ wasn't the only problem. He was bad last year. Don't get me wrong. Like, he was bad, but it's was getting rid of the young core. Lonzo B.I. Worth 2020. Absolutely. Do you know how hard it is to win a championship? You realize there are teams that have never been in the NBA Finals? Never. Like, the Memphis Grizzlies have been to one Western Conference Finals. The Clippers have been to one Western Conference Finals. Like, yes, absolutely. Plus, how many of these guys are doing anything? Zubac is okay rotation guy. Hart, pretty solid rotation guy. Randall had the worst season of his career last year, and Lonzo can't stay healthy. BI is the best out of all of them, but BI can't even lead that team to the playoffs. Yeah, I think it was safe to say that was better. Memphis is far better than the Lakers are right now. How do we know? Who knows? Better worry about the Pelicans. Look, I think the Pelicans could be very good, but I don't trust young teams coming to the playoffs. That's the problem. Name me one team that was young that had no veteran players and won a championship? I'll tell you the answer. There isn't one. I mean, even like the Warriors. Like the Warriors had like guys like Andre Iguodala, Andrew Bogut. And guess what? Andre Iguodala won the finals MVP. Like you need veterans, you need solid rotation veterans because they've been there. They've gone through the trial and error, stuff like that. That's why the Lakers even want a guy like Bohan and Conley and guys like that. That's why it's even a consideration because they're guys that have been there. It's guys you can trust. It's guys that can hit the shot. Like there's a lot of big questions about like, like this team could be great. Like let's say this team is so good to the number 1 seed. I'm not saying it will happen. I'm not saying it should happen. I'm not saying anything. I'm just saying like let's say this team is so good that they're the number 1 seed. They could still lose the first round of the playoffs if they play, like a Denver team or something like that. I'm not saying they will again, but it's just having solid vets and rotation guys are so huge. So huge. I mean, look at Milwaukee. Milwaukee had to go get a Drew Holiday, a Brook Lopez, guys like that. PJ Tucker, and they win a championship. You need veterans. What's going on, Julio? Appreciate you. How are you? Good night to you as well. And I am wonderful. We're here. We're hanging out. We're trying to reach our subscriber goal. We're 17 subscribers away. I need 17 more subscribers, 212 of you. I'm sure there's 17 of you that are not subscribed. Help me get to 3,700 subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. You would all be awesome. I really do. I appreciate it. Subscribe to the channel. If we are going to do well this year, it will be due to defense. I agree with you. We have young athletic guys to be good defense and get out on the run. I do. I think we very likely are top 3 to 5 in fast breaks and fast break points. And hopefully we're top 5 in defense. I don't think we're going to have a problem, but we didn't have a problem scoring last year. We averaged like 114 points last year. And problem was we gave up 120. So that was the problem. Canelo won. Did he really win? Oh no. All right, let's power through a couple more of these, and then we're gonna skate out of here. I need 15 more subscribers. 15 more subscribers. Subscribe to the channel. Help me reach that goal. We're gonna power through some questions. I'm gonna get out of here. I hope to reach that goal before we wrap this up. But yes, please, 15 more subscribers. Hit that subscribe button. Trying to find a question to me. What else? Here we go. I don't think AD is top 5, but he is pretty close. I think Durant, James, Embiid, Giannis, and Joker are all better. But I can see AD beat up Joker if he's healthy for a solid year. I think it just depends on what AD you get. He has the capability of playing top 5, but most people don't consider him top 5. He has the capability. He just is very inconsistent. If he can, I really expect him to have an MVP season. Now, whether he wins the MVP or not, that's a different question. But I think he should at least be in the conversation. But yeah, I think AD has the capability of being top 5 when he plays at that. Like the bubble year, like in the bubble, that was top 5 player Anthony Davis. He has that capability. It's just will he? If 5 days from now nothing is happening, should Laker fans be worried? I mean, again, I wouldn't be worried until something happens, but I would definitely be curious. I like if we don't get a trade by like the middle of next week, I think this is our roster. Which, would I like some wings? Absolutely. Maybe throw a little barbecue sauce. No, but on a serious note, I don't know. I wouldn't. I want to at least see the team, even if it's the team we have right now. I want to at least see them play. I want at least a sample size of a couple games before we just jump the gun and just say, oh, they're terrible. What do you think? It's time to get desperate? I'd say probably like 10 games into the season if we're like 2-8. If we're 10 games into the season, it's time to start calling teams and saying, "Hey, we got 2 first round picks." I mean, unless you want to, like everyone says, punt the season. Because like I wouldn't be shocked if we beat the Warriors for the opening night. I mean, just from a statistical standpoint, when a team wins the finals, they have the hangover, the finals hangover or championship hangover, what it's called. And when they get their rings and they have their ring ceremony, it's like 84, 83%, something like that. Because I'm a guy that lives in Vegas and bets on that all the time. Great example, the Rams game, Rams and Bills. I hammered that because it happens in every single sport. A team comes in, they get their rings. They're right. It's the first game after that high. The Lakers, after they won the championship, same thing. Like it at all sports. It happens so much. It happens like literally like 84% of the time across all sports that the team that wins the championship, gets those rings, has the hangover, end up losing that game. So I think it's very likely that they start 1-0 just based on future past probability. Secondly, the Clippers, because we play the Warriors and the Clippers back to back, and I think that Clipper game is huge because if we start the season 2-0, I think the narrative is going to change completely. I think even if we start 1-1, I think the narrative changes. But if we start 2-0, I think we really change. But if I had to choose between the two games, I would rather the Lakers beat the Clippers and lose to the Warriors, because then you have that that narrative that's out there of like, oh, it was the defending champions, we lost. Unless they just get blown out. But if they lose to the Clippers, the narrative is going to be like, oh, look, like it's just the conversation and the picture and the image is going to be so much worse if they lose to the Clippers than if they lose to the Warriors. But I think they beat the Warriors, and then the Clippers, I hope they beat the Clippers. Really, Embiid production in the playoffs falls off while AD's goes up. Embiid recently has been more available in the regular season. That's all. I think it just depends on what AD you have. I think AD is capable of being better than Embiid. It's just which AD you gonna get. Let's see. Is there a real chance that the Lakers and Jazz make a trade before the training game starts? I mean, yeah, I think so. I mean, they have all the components to make a trade. It's just, will they come to an agreement? But I do think there's a real chance. I mean, based on the reports yesterday, they're still talking. So they're at least working on trying to get there. Now, will they get there? Who knows? I mean, they might already have it kind of worked out, and the Jazz are just waiting to see if somebody else steps up to the plate. That's always a possibility too. But I think if they can come to an agreement, yeah, they will. First unit, Westbrook, Walker, James, Davis, Bryant. Second unit, Reeves, Nunn, Pat, Anderson, Gabriel. Third unit, Pippen. They don't have room for half those guys. They only have one more roster spot. Russ 2 first for Bogdanovich, or however you spell it. His name, and Jordan Clarkson. There's no way the Lakers didn't want to give up 2 firsts for Kyrie Irving. They're not going to give up 2 firsts for Bogdanovich, Jordan Clarkson. Traded THT for someone they could have gotten for free when Pat Bev gets waived. Yes, but it wasn't about just getting him, just to trade him. It was about unloading THT's salary and clearing a roster spot. That's what it was for. That's why the Lakers did that trade. There's you got to keep in mind, just trades aren't always just player for player. There's a lot of the reason the Jazz want to trade for Westbrook is not because they want Westbrook. It's because there's another element that is important and a factor for why this trade happens. Trades aren't always what it looks like on paper. There's always other things that are involved. Chill, Justin. We all just debating here, bro. Yeah, facts, right? Like that's all. It's all fun. Like I said, it's YouTube. Don't take it too serious. We're all just talking. We're all giving our opinions. We're all giving our thoughts. We're all just, we're hanging out. We're having fun. None of us are experts. None of us are fucking GMs or anything. Like, we're here to just have a good time and hang out, have some friendly discussions, have some debates, have some back and forth, this, that, and the other. That's all it's about. It's about just having fun, having a good time. Russ don't fit. Yeah, I agree with that. He does. Why do you think it is taking so long for them to get these deals done? Reason I'm asking is because I feel like if it gets done sooner, they have more time to build chemistry. Thanks, bro. No problem, Xanos. Which I love the name. That's cool. And I love the profile picture. That's cool. Welcome aboard. But I think the Jazz are hoping somebody else steps up and wants to, give up something. I think also they really want those draft picks from the Lakers, and the Lakers really don't want to give them up. So I think that the Jazz are trying to play hardball in hopes that the Lakers say, okay, we really don't want to go into training camp with Russ. Here's an extra first, or here's an extra second, or maybe they can get them to raise the price. Based on Jazz insiders, this is from the Jazz side, not the Lakers side. The Jazz and the Lakers have figured out the structure of players, like which players, like Tony Jones, who's he's like the it guy for the Jazz, said like that the player side has been worked out. He said he couldn't say who it was, but rumors were at the time it was Conley, Beasley, and Bogdanovich. But Conley makes no sense now because of Schroeder. So I don't think it is that, or it's changed since that time, which that's how it works. But I think that's just what it is. I think the Jazz are waiting it out, hoping to end up getting more than what is currently on the table. Because the Jazz do have to do a deal ASAP, because they have to get off of two guys. And so I think that I think the Jazz are hoping Lakers either are willing to give up more or another team steps up, and now they kind of have that for leverage, stuff like that, which right now, as far as we know, again, from Jazz reports, is that there's no other options. No one wants to be the team that helps the Lakers win a chip. Exactly. That is 100% true. Absolutely. I feel that. I thought that too, to be honest. Yeah. I mean, they're trying to get whatever they can from the Lakers. That's exactly what it is. No team wants to be the Grizzlies and trade Pau Gasol. Like, look, Danny Ainge could get both first-round picks, all the pick swaps possible, all of the second-round picks possible for Bogdanovich and Jordan Clarkson for Russell Westbrook. I mean, completely fleeced the Lakers to no win in an insane way, like unlike anything we've ever seen before. And if the Lakers win the championship and Bogdanovich is a key component and so is Jordan Clarkson, Danny Ainge will never live that down. You made the trade. Yeah, I don't care that you got picks that may or may not be something. You made the trade and the Lakers won championship number 18. That's just the world we live in. Like, Rob Pelinka could make the worst trade in NBA history, but if those guys are a key component to the Lakers winning the championship this year, Rob Pelinka is going to get all the praise in the world and going to be a superstar, and Danny Ainge is going to be looked at as the idiot that helped the Lakers win again. I am with you 100%. I don't trust AD to stay healthy. That's why we need another big so badly. Turner or Vanderbilt would be huge help on the board's defense if our three bigs. I mean, yeah, Turner or Vanderbilt would be fantastic. I don't think the Jazz move off of Vanderbilt, and Turner I'd be all for it. Look, if there is any way we can get either of those guys, Lakers need to do it. I love Jonathan Isaac from the Magic. I don't think the Magic would give him up at all. Dude, that dude was looking like a real star before he got hurt. Like, that dude was looking like this guy could be a problem before he got hurt. helping them with their blow up in the process. Yeah, I mean they're definitely it's definitely mutually beneficial, but nobody wants to help the Lakers. They're not giving up Isaac. Yeah, facts. Like I would love that. I mean, I know the King of LA. They're just throwing out an idea. Which, if there was a way for us to get Jonathan Isaac, you do it. I would give up both first round picks for Jonathan Isaac, even though there's the injury concern. Even though we don't know if he'll return, just because if he gets back into form, like what we saw before the injury, that dude could be a problem for a long time for Lakers. They should let Russell ball out with the Lakers now that Coach can run them. His career stats are 3 points a game, less than LeBron and Davis, only 2.5% less, and career field goal percentage less. Dude, I have no problems if Russ is still in the deal in place. I really don't. I'm not against it at all. Pacers didn't get any better with Buddy. Miles is always hurt and is the last year of the deal. So are they going to pay him? The Jazz are in full-blown tank mode and have 100 players. Yeah, very true. Look, the Pacers, I just think the Pacers are trying to be stubborn. I think that's all it is. I just think the Pacers are looking at it as like, if we give them Miles Turner and Buddy Hield and we don't get both first-round picks and a bunch of other stuff, then we're going to be looked – then they might be good enough to win a championship, and we don't want to do that. That's what I think it is. It's time to trade none for Reddish if the Lakers want to hold on to Westbrook. Yeah, I look, if that could happen, I wouldn't be against that at all. At all. As much as I am high on Nunn, and I really want to see Nunn play. I really want to see him ride it out for them. Love the Lakers roster as constructed. I'm with you, FYF Sports. Couldn't agree more. I do. I this whole stream has been me sticking up for this Lakers roster. So I'm with you. Not really sure now with the trade at this moment. Ainge and Zanuck can demand 2 picks for Bowen, Clarkson, and Beasley. Danny can get trade each one by separate. I mean, based on the reports from yesterday, they're still working out a deal. So hopefully one gets done. Hopefully they're able to figure one out. See, I don't like Hayward's contract. Like that's and his injury history and stuff like that. I wouldn't mind Oubre. If there was a way for us to get Oubre without trading for Hayward, I would do it. Next year will be almost impossible to sign big free agents. Trevor Lane and the other dude on the Lakers. Nation said yesterday that Lakers free cap will be around $25 million. What he said is assuming, there's several factors that go into that. He was saying if Damian Jones, if they keep Damian Jones and his money, the draft picks, if they don't like unload the draft picks, which later he said they could unload those draft picks. Basically, he was factoring in all of the things that the Lakers like could end up having. Then yeah, they'd be at around $25 million. Because even when he asked, like if you saw the live stream, he says like, oh, the Lakers are only going to have like 15 to 18 million or whatever. And Trevor Lane was like, I don't know how they get there. Like, I need you to explain that to me. And then he said, well, if they keep Damian Jones and they keep their draft picks and this, that, yeah, well, yeah, if they keep, all their guys and they have to renounce everybody and everything. They have to basically unload everything except for LeBron James, Anthony Davis, and the rookie. Why am I'm blanking on his name? Sorry. Max Christie. There we go. I don't know why I blanked on his name. Yeah, they basically would have to get rid of everything except for Max Christie, Anthony Davis, and LeBron James, and they could get to that 40. I did a video. Jovan Buha broke it all down. I did a video for you that shows the cap and how they get there and what they need to do. So if you want, go check that out. There's rumors of a Indiana Pacer deal. It's not going to happen. And there's talks of them maybe buying out Kemba Walker, but that ain't going to happen. I think Schroeder and Pat Bev will play the start point guard, shooting guard position. If they get rid of Westbrook, yes. Westbrook's starting. I mean, even Pat Bev today basically said Westbrook's starting. And that the report was a joke. With 25 million cap space, Pelinka must do a move this year. Again, it's if, like I said, if they keep Damian Jones which they probably don't. He probably opts out. Like if he has a good year, he's not going to stay. All that stuff. They'd basically have to renounce everybody, and then they could get there. What do you think is the strongest possibility currently going into the season with the roster? Do you think we go into the season with whether it be Bogdanovich, Clarkson, Beasley, Hill, Turner, or Russ? Maybe I think the most likely scenarios are Russ or Bogdanovich, Clarkson, and Beasley. I think that those are the only two options. I think either they work out a pace or they work out a Jazz deal, and that gets done, or they end up keeping Russ. That's the only two things I say. No way Reeves plays the three, bro. That's their only option. They're not gonna like Troy Brown and JTA. They're the end of the bench guys. And Reeves played three. He's played the three before. He played a little bit last year. Stuff like that. They don't have a choice. That's why like the report was Schroeder and Westbrook are point guards. Pat Bev, Nuns, shooting guards, Reeves and Walker are the small forwards. That's why Reeves bulked up this year, added some weight, got some size, all that stuff. I'm not saying it's the best situation. I'm not saying it's the best scenario, but that's the reality we're looking right now as the roster currently stands. As a Laker fan, I really would love to see Darvin try the squad out as is healthy. I think Lakers can shake up the West healthy. Anything can happen with LeBron James. I'm with you. I have no problems with this team as is standing pat. I think we could surprise some people. All right, let's knock up a couple things, and then we're gonna get out of here. Hit that subscribe button for me. I am 14 subscribers away from hitting that subscriber goal of 3,700. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, and let's do a handful more questions, and then I'm gonna get out of here. It's been 2 hours and 42 minutes, and I was only planning on going like an hour and a half, which I'm fine. I love these conversations. I love these talks. Rondo was great. Facts. Hillary, welcome back. The team construction doesn't make sense if it's the final. I hope we make a trade. That's what it looks like. We got to make a trade. It doesn't make sense the way the roster is constructed. It doesn't. I'm with you. As a Laker fan, run it back with this other squad. Let Darvin do his magic. I am, like I said, I am not completely against it. Not at all. Not at all. I have no clue how this team will look. Just wait and see. Exactly. None of us do. Like, that's why I don't understand how people say this team is going to be terrible. Like, how do you know? This team could be great. Great. Was Schroeder taken to maybe be in a trade? No, because they wouldn't be able to trade him for you can't sign players to trade to like include them in trades. So he wouldn't be able to be traded till like February, if at all. So yeah, they can't, unfortunately. We got my number one supporter, Kevin, in the chat. Shout outs to Kevin. He is my number one troll supporter. That dude says he hates me and my channel, yet he watches every video, comments several times on every video. That dude puts more work into my channel than anybody, than like the people that love my channel. Big shout outs to you, Kevin. You're awesome. You probably give me so much. Agreed. I think we do need to get rid of Russ. He's a good player. Just not a good fit for the team. Look, I love Russ. I think Russ is still that dude. I just think fit is the problem. That's the problem. I just think he's just a really bad fit. But I don't know. Maybe Darvin Ham. Maybe he can work that out. Why are we working out Isaiah Thomas? We are not working out Isaiah Thomas, nor did we work out Isaiah Thomas. And we know that because Isaiah Thomas said, I absolutely did not work out for the Lakers. Who was your source or something? Isaiah Thomas literally called out the guy that said that he was coming out. So it was, that was a fake report. These Jazz trolls really have nothing better to do. than come to Lakers chat. Oh no, so like Kevin, I don't know what fan he is. He's definitely one of my fans. He is hands down my biggest fan. I swear to you, that guy is every single. I don't think that guy misses a video of mine. That guy always leaves like 3 or 4 comments, which helps engagement and helps get the video out. That dude is my number one fan, hands down, 110%. Kevin, he's the man when it comes to that stuff. We have to get rid of Russ, trade him to Russia. I feel it. Outside of Lopez, they had Drew Holiday, BJ Tucker, Brooke Lopez. What are you talking about? Sorry, trying to find other stuff. We got. All right, let's get a few more things and then we out of here. JC coming in hot with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, JC. I really appreciate that. Keep up the good work, bro. Thank you. Absolutely, I will. Look, I ain't going nowhere. Like I said, I want to be a fixture. I want to be a face in this space and in this community and with the Lakers and stuff like that. So I am willing to grind, willing to work hard, make videos, have these live streams, all of this stuff. I really do. I thank you for everybody's support. Whether we agree, whether we disagree, whether we go back and forth. Said it several times in this stream. It's all about the fun. It's all about just having a good time, entertainment, this, that, and the other. That's all it is. It's YouTube. It's YouTube. It's nothing's that serious. It's fun. We're having a good time having these talks. And you had a really great point earlier, JC. Like I said, I really did. I really enjoyed that that counterpoint that you made. Absolutely. But again, thank you so much. Thank you, everybody. I think this is where I'm going to end it. Because we got a ton more chat. Sorry I couldn't get to everybody. I try my best to get through it as much as I can as possible. Super chats are always the way to get noticed for future reference if you ever want to do it. But I don't do this for the super chat stuff. I do this for the conversation, for the fun. But nonetheless, I appreciate all of you. Seriously, subscribe to the channel. I still didn't hit the subscriber goal, which is a bummer. But hey, it's okay. 13 more subscribers. I'm sure there's 13 of you that are not subscribed. It would be great if I got off of this and we ended up hitting that subscriber goal. So if you're not subscribe to the channel. It really does help me out a ton. Again, I appreciate everyone. Thank you, everyone that gave super chats. Thank you, everyone that liked this video. Thank you all for just hanging out with me. Nonetheless, I will see you all in the next one. Thank you.